Up early just because we know it's going to be a hot one. Might as well start off with it, huh?
Yeah.
Kick it out. The views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of iNDIE Volt Media, LLC, and do not reflect the official policy or position of any guest or sponsors. Viewer discretion is advised.
It always is on this show. It always is. There we are. Hey, everybody.
Good Lord, it's Kevin Eastman.
Yeah. It's Kevin Eastman. I'm just taking a look at the iNDIE Volt page there. No new news up there because it's been on a bit of a break. But
the great dreaded dinosaur man. Your news is on a break? Your news has broken?
The news is it's on a bit of a break. I've let some of the people who review the comics and
you're tired of trying to come up with new names for Bloodbath?
Yeah.
Oh wait, you don't do mainstream.
We don't do mainstream. But some it's funny how often it actually leaks over into
bloodbath, bloodletting, whatever.
Like what happens in the mainstream does leak over occasionally, and
does it?
And it's like you can't help but feel the tremors from it.
Kind of like swamp butt.
Yeah. It's like this is thinking up the whole room.
I'm in a mood. Can you tell?
It's thinking up the whole room.
Yes, there. Well, yes. I don't know what more to tell you other than to agree with you, buddy.
We got a lot to talk about. We got some questions from iNDIE Volt Radio tonight. Questions that were sent in. We're probably gonna make some new enemies.
Dun dun dun.
It's gonna be awful.
In the immortal words of Jack Nicholson, this town needs an enema. Is that what you're saying?
It needs a lot of stuff.
TVMA DLSV, folks.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a hot one.
Randy and I'll be back after the intro. We'll introduce ourselves afterwards, and we'll see you guys on the other side of the fun. Here we go. I want to run the intro right now.
What the fuck is the matter with people in this business?
How you doing?
Hello, everybody out there. Welcome to iNDIE Volt Live Wire. My name is Varian Grant. I am the founder of iNDIE Volt Media LLC. Started making comics way back in 2008. And it's been a long stretch, very long stretch. And I'm a comic book artist, writer, publisher, fan still. Still a fan. Geek.
Yoda's not even paying attention this morning. This evening.
All those good things. Reluctant taxpayer. Reluctant payer.
Reluctant payer.
Reluctant pay. I'm reluctant. That sounds like you can't move your bowels. I'm very reluctant today.
I thought that was constipated, but anyway, go ahead.
It might be. We should make a new word for constipated. I like reluctant. Randy, I'm joined by you this evening, iNDIE Volt Live Wire. Let everybody know who you are.
Hey, everybody. My name is Randy Zimmerman. I've been doing comics for a long time. I've done written, drawn, lettered, inked, not quite colored on a consistent basis for somebody else, but I freelanced for many years, printed under the Arrow, Weeby, and Massive Comics banners. I am currently known for doing sequential art for advertising and educational purposes. If you've ever seen the Preservers, you'll know what I mean by that. Currently issue 5, I believe. I ought to get the word to start working that up anytime now. And I do the Zim Geek channel over on YouTube, though I haven't put a whole lot up there this year. I am making it a personal goal to do a lot more next year. And I'm part of the great iNDIE Volt Radio Network. That's Volt, iNDIE Volt, VOLT. And iNDIE, INDIE.
Yeah, we gotta make sure we spell it right because people are looking all over the place for it.
It's important to spell it right. I've been getting notes. People are out there looking for iNDIE Volt. I don't know why.
Glenn Ford in the chat. Hello, Glenn.
Hey, Glenn. How you doing?
Yeah, Glenn Ford. Exergy Studios, Inc. Howdy, celebs. Hello, sir. How are you? Liking the new
celebs. What's the name?
Yeah, we're liking the new chat bubbles too. They're really awesome.
Hey, there are new chat bubbles, aren't there?
Yeah.
Wow.
And comment top Pops Van Zant says, Randy Varian looks like madness to me. Hello, Pops. How are you, Mr. Van Zant?
Pops, what's up?
Yeah, definitely in the chat. Do I hear rattling behind me? I do hear rattling behind me. Okay. Sorry, I thought I heard something. So yeah, one of the first things I want to start off with was a question that came in.
Glenn's enjoying his vacation. Glenn, I've been enjoying my vacation since about March.
How long was your vacation for, Glenn?
Doesn't he do Iconius toy review?
Ionicus toy review.
Ionicus.
Yeah. Ionicus toy review over on YouTube. He reviews toys and food. Yeah.
I gotta start a food review channel.
Yeah. I do food reviews at cons. Eric will bring me something that's like foreign.
Con food review.
Yeah, well, no, it's like normally Eric buys stuff like it's like from other countries, and he'll be like, "Hey, Ryan, try this Japanese cookie."
Oh,
and I'm like,
I thought you'd be saying, "Hey, folks, hear this. That's my hamburger bun."
Yeah, no, it doesn't get that bad. It doesn't get that bad. It probably will eventually.
Maybe next year.
Yeah,
start pulling out all the week and month old stuff that they've had stored because nobody's been doing conventions.
Yeah,
you never know.
One of the first questions I had to come in.
Glenn goes back to work January 4th, though. We are always here, though. Every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, every Sunday, and now every Monday. Yes.
Every day. No,
let's just make it every. I was going to ask if we wanted to do a New Year's Eve program, but I figured that might be overkill.
I'm not sure. We'll figure out something. It might be. It might be out of the blue when we do. One of the things that I got sent a question about was Case. The Case passing the Senate. A lot of people are worried about that.
About what passing the Senate?
Case. CASE. Case is for small claims copyright issues.
Yeah, I heard about that. Went through on the stimulus bill.
Yeah.
Oh, they snuck it in along with a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah. For years, Randy. And I'll bring everybody up. I'm pretty sure Randy knows what's going on, but I'll bring everybody else.
Many years.
Wow, I just got a notification that Pierre Cardin has passed away. Wow.
Who's Pierre Cardin?
Fashion designer Pierre Cardin. Pierre Cardin socks.
Yeah, that's how well I keep track of fashion.
Yeah.
We should probably have NS in here to explain the importance of that passing.
Yeah, I had some Pierre Cardin socks, a couple pairs, when I was younger, back in the
Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I just seen it come across my device here. Anyway, so for case law, what case is that before, if you wanted to take someone to court for copyright claims, you had to do it in the U.S. at least. You had to do it through federal court. The federal court was getting tired of dealing with it. Plus, they said that it was keeping people out of small creators or small copyright owners or complainants out of the keeping them out of being able to because it was costly to file a complaint, so they were just kind of screwed.
It's like the larger scale. What happens on YouTube?
Right.
Somebody doesn't like your copyrighted material. They go in and they file a quick complaint, whether they own anything or not. And,
right.
There goes your money on the video.
So what's happened now is that in 2008, the Senate was told to investigate and figure out ways to fix the situation.
So now, 12 years later, they're sneaking it into the stimulus package. That, my friends, is Washington for you.
Well, to be fair, in 2013, in 2013, they issued their report like, "Hey, here's what we found." And then now it is 2020, and they're like, "Hey, we're gonna sneak this into the stimulus." Yeah. So, but it is there. Now people on both sides are kind of freaking out about it. Some people who are for it are like, "Yes, this is great." People who are against it are like, "No, this is horrible," and there's still loopholes in there that they don't like. This will affect things. So this will affect a lot of things. I think that we're gonna see. And it's funny because one of the things that they pointed out in the case law, and I said, "Wow, that sure is a shot to me," or as an illustrator. They said, under federal law, copyright infringement cases must be pursued in federal courts. This can be an expensive or time-consuming option for small copyright owners, particularly for written and illustrated works compared to audio-visual works. I'm like, wow, they had to shout out Illustrated. But now this is the maximum for this is going to be up to 30,000 per claim. So this is
up to 30,000 what
per claim.
Oh, per claim.
Yeah. So this is basically a small claims court for copyrights. And
so you're going to start seeing a lot of copyright claims out there for $29,999.
Oh yeah, tons of them. I guarantee you, the comic book industry is going to be, especially the independent industries, are going to see.
Well, we'll revisit this video exactly a year from now, and we'll see how much the term comic book industry is a real thing.
Oh yeah.
Anyway.
Well, but I also want to see how many times people have been affected by Case after this point. We'll be like, because the funny name is, I think that it's called Case. That's funny to me. It's like CASE. It's like Case is Case, guys. I call it Case. Yeah, more ways than one.
Yeah.
So that's, to me, it's really it's. Someone asked about how do we think that's going to affect change the landscape of comics. Wait and see.
Oh yeah, baby. They got to figure out that what the law is. The law's got to be defined once. There'll be it'll be hairy for a minute, but then once the definitive line gets drawn, then it'll calm down a little bit.
Let me take
much unlike if I might add, most cases in comic book history are always settled out of court really quick because they don't want that line defined, especially when it comes to copyright law.
And we also have to think that there are some people who should be very happy. There are some creators of books should be very happy this law just got signed on the 27th by President Trump. Because if this would have been a law maybe 12 years ago, a couple of your series might not have gotten made. Just saying. Might have been able to say, hey, Your Honor, he's clearly stealing from me. Clearly.
Are you? Is there a dagger in here somewhere?
There's a dagger. There's a dagger. There's a
stab.
Yeah. Stab. You know, I like to stab walkers sometimes, Randy. You know, the walkers, zombies, you know, that type of thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what you meant.
Yeah. Those people. Most type of people should be.
Walkers.
Yeah.
Not those guys on in Return to Oz, right?
No, not those.
Those are what, wheelers?
Those are wheelers.
Oh, okay. There's a difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wheeler dealers.
Dealers.
Yeah. So the next question, Randy, is and I know
was that a question?
Well, no, it was, again, how do we expect that copyright law?
Guess what? I guess that bill has got 5,000 or 6,000 pages. Everybody's going to be wading through that one, I think, for the next year.
We got our legal department, Joe McPhee. He's going through it right now.
He's reading up on it.
Yeah, Joe's reading through it. He's going to be able to tell us everything we know about it. Yeah.
Jason Moore has lost his sense of direction. He's asking, "What's up, folks?"
Hey, Jason, how you doing? Jason, I just found your business card. I it's weird too. I do not like where I found it.
You heard that? Varian says your business card is weird, Jason.
And I found this business card on my headboard.
Well,
I found this business card on my headboard. I was cleaning up. I'm like, "What, Jason?" It's because I have these cubby holes that you get. It's a drawer you open, and I'm like, did I know what happened. I came home, I lay down in bed. The
you have little secret compartments in your headboard for such emergencies.
I reached up, I opened the headboard above my head, and I threw the cards back there and closed it. That's what happened. And then
I got it.
It just so happens that I pulled out Jason Moore's card today and was like, Jason, you've been in my bed. I'm just kidding. It's very interesting. Very interesting lives we live as comic artists. Now, Randy, I'm going to put up a question.
And I don't need to know that, Varian. Jason says he doesn't need to know it. Nobody needs to know that.
Yeah.
Jason's right.
Everyone needs to know. Everyone needs to know.
Nobody needs to know what things you have in your compartments in your headboard.
Randy, I'm putting up a question from Johnny Hazard.
Cool, Johnny Hazard
with 3 Z's.
If it was two Z's, that'd be Frank Robbins' character, probably before your time. Johnny Hazard.
Mm-hmm.
Johnny, thanks for writing in, whoever you are. What is with these idiots changing the world through comics? This ain't the 40s or 50s. Comic books haven't been attached to the heart of America in at least 5 decades. Say that to Disney and Kevin Feige. Might argue with you. Anyone who thinks otherwise is a dolt and needs their heads examined.
I haven't heard dolt in a long time.
No, you don't listen to Simpsons much. Dolt. Pardon me.
I'm gonna let you go with that one, Randy, because I'm the first to admit I'm out of the.
Johnny, thanks for writing in. Yes, you're right. The comic book situation has definitely changed since the 40s and 50s because it got castrated in the 80s, and we decided to do this direct market system without going out there and trying to increase the readership or even feed or nurture the readership other than to see how much money they could drain out of the retailers' wallets. So instead of getting great stuff, great comics that can go through and influence America, you got variant covers. Hope you're happy.
Oh, you said variant covers, like what? Wait,
no, not variant covers. variant covers.
Yeah.
In the 90s, you got weird, flashy covers and metal stamping and all of this.
Everything I like.
Yeah. all that little collectible doodad stuff that doesn't mean anything nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Except you like the flashy stuff.
Yeah.
The days, but actually having comics be in the heart of America, I have to almost disagree. I understand where you're saying, and it would be a picky point to diffuse that and point out that all the movies that Marvel is making or all the money that Marvel and Disney is making, not DC, they're not making a lot of money off of their movies, but there is room for comics and sequential art in the heart of America. It's just America has to see it, and the comic shops have gotten so stigmatized that a lot of people don't go into the shops. When I did the Flint Comics paper, I got every local comic shop to advertise in the paper, and one of the biggest longest lasting shops here in Flint would tell me that they could always tell when somebody walked in who had read the paper because their jaw drops and their eyes get big and they start looking all around and they can't believe what they see because there's so few people that actually take a moment and walk into the comic shops. So instead of, say, for example, Marvel and DC or Diamond, especially Diamond, going out there and trying to get books out everywhere and to encourage more shops to open so that there's one all over the place. Remember back in the 80s and 90s, they were like sports cards shops. Every mall seemed to have a comic shop. Yeah. At least around here. Some of them were few and far between in some of your more rural areas, but there was a lot of comic shops all over the place. And that was a real golden age for the direct market. Yeah. And now you see maybe one shop per city. If you're lucky, you have two. Flint here has two main shops and one that opens occasionally whenever the person wants to open the shop. But the other two shops are and I'm not even sure how they're doing. I haven't been out to see them since, the bug hit. Mm-hmm. But I can't see anyone who thinks otherwise is adult and needs their heads examined. I think it's a possibility that comics can get back there in the hearts again. They're definitely dwelling pretty hard in their wallets, especially the big icons, on everything except comics.
One of the things, Randy, for me, I remember, I've always been a comic fan. So for me, comics have always been, there. And I have this problem where I tend to think if it's popular to me, it must be popular to the rest of the world.
Everybody has that personal perspective, though.
Yeah, a friend of mine, it was like 2005, 2004, 2005. He and I kind of rediscovered how great the Nintendo 64 as a video game system was, and we started going back, like getting the games and playing them. Mm-hmm. And I remember making a comment to him once. I said, "Hey man, do you kind of notice like there's like a resurgence in the system?" And he says, "No, it's just us. It's not. It's you're misappropriating the your own excitement." And I'm like, maybe. And so for comics, for me, has always been a big thing now, even since I was a kid. So when when I was, when I would see like Batman 1989 movie, everybody's cutting bats in the back of their head. The comic stores are filled with Batman fans buying all the swag. I'm like, yeah, this feels right. And then when Superman died, when they killed Superman, I remember that being a big deal. And I remember not wanting to go to school that day. The only reason I went to school was because my dad promised me he'd have the comic for me when I got home.
Oh.
And I remember, all I could think about in school was, how it was going to happen. Was Doomsday going to win and go on that someone's going to have to stop him? What was going to happen?
Yeah.
And I remember I got home. My dad bought a couple different copies of it because, he wanted to collect them as well. But because my dad was a collector of like comics and action figures. And I get home and I get this book and I got my reader copy and I'm flipping through it and I read the story and I must have read it like 4 times that day. But I remember taking it back to school and almost none of the other students were interested.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, Superman is dead. And they're like, yeah. Oh, well. And I'm like, what, you guys, Superman is, okay, come on. This is Superman. He's dead. And they didn't care. I mean, a couple of students read the book. They read the comic and they were excited. The folks, they got the chance to read a fight. Oh, Superman got the hair knocked out of him. That's all they would say. But like, it wasn't connected. You're right. He's got a point. It wasn't, whereas, like, again, when I'm a little boy, I've told this before. When Optimus Prime died in the Transformers movie, the animated movie, I came home, went in my room for a week. So it's like that connection isn't there.
And then you ran out and got the movie?
No. My my mother took me to see it, and my aunt told me that I came home and I had my little Optimus Prime toy in my hand, and I looked up at her with tear-streaked cheeks, and I said, Optimus Prime is dead. And she said I ran right past her into my room, and I curled up on my bed with my Optimus Prime toy, and I just held him. And then because I come from the movie, but I remember that was again popular to me, not popular to the world. I remember though in that 616 documentary on Disney Plus, a lot of the women saying, "Hey, I'm changing the world through comics," and yes, and I was thinking like, well, and now when you think, oh, Johnny here said, are they really? Are their efforts in vain? What do you think?
I don't think they're changing the world. They're helping to influence everybody thinking that Marvel is dead, but or that comics are dead, or were those things actually printed on paper? That kind of thing. But I don't think they're out there to influence. I understand where they get that idea, but that's because I'm doing I'm working on a book about the history of comics, where back then important things that happened you read in the newspaper, and the newspaper also carried comics. The important things, you went and got your important prescriptions and the items that you needed at your home in the drugstore also carried comics. They had spiral racks all over the place. So it was part of American society. Now you have to go out of your way to into a hole or into a shop or what, almost like you would do adult literature in the old days, where they used to have a lot of adult bookstores all over. Psst, hey kid, want a comic?
Yeah.
And when I was growing up, that's almost the way that was the way it was turning out, because the drugstores were starting to disappear. The direct market was coming in, and we were driving out. I was hitting the bookstore every month or every week that I knew got the direct market comics.
To your point, Randy, from Indie Vote Radio, and this is from Jaheen. Jaheen said that it's the industry's own fault for dropping the CCA approval messaging off of the comics. If they hadn't, they'd still be in drugstores and supermarkets.
I understand your viewpoint. That's only because I think it's important to agree with you before I tell you that you really need to get an education.
Here we go.
There were a lot of comics out there without that CCA stamp that were selling really, really well, like the Gold Key books, the Dell comics, that kind of thing. They didn't take that into account. There is a lot, and there's a lot to be said. There's a documentary that needs to be done about the CCA, and the reason, not the the exact rules are very important, but why it was enacted, because nowadays we think that they brought a code of morality, because that's what we were always told. It was a comic code authority.
Yeah.
But really what it was a matter of gatekeeping to keep certain publishers off of that spiral rack.
Yeah.
Because they had decided certain publishers were doing books that were too old for the typical kid comic book reader, or for the kid comic book reader. And they demeaned comics down to kiddie literature by sticking that stamp up in the corner a lot more than doing any type of CCA type of or any type of moral or morality guideline. You didn't have the movie numbers. You didn't even have the video game numbers or warning labels. DC almost went to that level right as the direct market was coming in. And the person that squashed that thought, completely squashed it, was Frank Miller.
Yeah, because he didn't. I want to get to these comments real quick. Buddy says you have friends. Very few.
Buddy can't believe you have friends.
Yeah. Buddy hasn't been on the show for. We need to fix that. He needs to get his butt in here. No LB Comics says we'll make them mean something again. We will, Larry. We will. And I think they do. Eccentric Studio says, Varian, do you know that the reaction to Optimus Prime's death was the reason why Duke did not die in the animated G.I. Joe or Red American Hero? Yeah, they changed it at the very last minute. They put this sound bite in that Duke was gonna make it. It came from the radio.
Really, to get back to that just shows you how what do I want? The fortitude of the people who were doing G.I. Joe at the time. Holy shit, we got to see the people freak when Optimus. Oh, we got to change our movie.
Yeah, well, they were the same studio, so they knew they had to do it. They were like, these kids. Yeah.
Sorry, but my opinion.
It came from the radio. Said I used to get my comics from only the stationery store. I was in high school before I went to my first comic store.
Yeah.
And Jeff Goulet says, how old are you, Varian? I'm 38. I'm 38 years old. I act all of 21, though.
I'm 106, but don't tell anybody.
Yeah, Johnny, thank you for writing in, though. And I do think that you bring up a good question, though, and also, what are we doing as an industry now to reconnect those bonds that may have been broken or that we've outgrown, and how do we get back into the public consciousness? Pop says young pup and old wolf.
As long as I'm not an old dog, because I learn new tricks every day. That's all. Mike calls you a young kid.
Yeah. I'm
Jeff just says I. Whoops. And apparently we lost Varian. So that was not my fault, folks. That was Varian himself. He probably aced himself out of the web. So because I see absolutely everything that he had loaded up here in the green room no longer exists. Here he comes back, folks.
My mistake. I actually hit the wrong button, bringing the
Kaboom.
Sorry. Yeah. My mistake.
It's amazing you got back as quick as you did.
Yeah. I hit the wrong buttons. I'm sorry.
So wolves run shit, bro.
Yeah, they do. They
right now I'm just trying to run my vinyl cutter. I'm ready to kick it out the door. But anyway, those salad days are never coming back. Jeff, you might be wrong. You might be right. You might be wrong. Really, I don't want to sound doom and gloom, but we're coming out of 2020 and heading into 2021. And print might not be as dead as you think for comics, because and just think of what would, and we've had these discussions in episodes past. Just think of what would have happened if Marvel and DC had decided that they wanted to help the retailer out and actually put out merchandise other than your stray movie adaptation or your oddball story that might link into something down the line over five freaking issues. If they had bothered to put material into the comic shops to enhance moviegoers' experiences for Tony Stark, for Steve Rogers, for Thor, for Black Widow, and all of this, amazing the amount of money that the retailers could have made that Marvel literally peed on, because they seem to want to have a completely different character in the
Mhm.
shops. How does that work? Was that intentional?
You know what? You
I
know
don't
what?
know. But
You
if I
know
was a retailer still, I would be screaming.
you
I
know
would
what
have been
my
screaming for the last 11, 12 years.
I was talking to a guy who is a manager at a theater.
Mhm.
His whole life, he's a movie theater. His whole life, he's wanted to. He's been in love with movies. He told me about his first
Yeah.
time being taken movies theaters by his parents. He's in love with the theater, with the the projectors, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And we got into a discussion about comic books because we talking about comic movies and how he feels it. He feels like Tom Hanks that Marvel is good. Marvel can save the movie business, and we were talking about
AT&T and Disney could save the comic market tomorrow if they wanted to.
well the thing was,
I mean, it won't be that, it can't be that fast because the wheels move slow and everything has to go through this diamond funnel. But within months, 6 months, they could turn those retail stores around real easy.
well, he was shocked when we were talking about comics, and I was telling him about Liberty and how we do things a little bit different. Liberty Distribution does things different from Diamond, and he asked me to explain to him how Diamond works and how the comic book distribution system works.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that's basically that's unsustainable. He thought, he says, and shouldn't Marvel, DC, and other companies, or shouldn't they be opened up to charges, class action lawsuits from these stores? Because he felt, which is, because he's from a different business, you're providing subpar content on a regular basis that I cannot sell.
Yes.
And
if the retailers had been organized, they could have done a class action lawsuit against both Marvel and DC, well, especially Marvel, both Marvel and DC for that problem, but they can't get organized enough.
And not just because he's like, he says, as a theater, if you present a film and you say, hey, this film is coming out on this day, well, there's room for delays. There's always postponements, and that's fine. But if you say, hey, we're releasing this this R-rated movie, and then when you get it, it's actually NC-17, there's an issue there because the content of the movie has changed. Therefore, because you booked your amount of screens you're going to put the film on, which is a lot like how a comic shop owner buys their comics. How many books do I need? Is it going to be a big seller? And so when it doesn't, I get it. I get what he was saying. I get how he was up, and he was telling me that he thinks they should sue and he thinks they had a case. And I'm like you said, Randy, they aren't organized enough to do it. And to a certain point, is it even worth doing? Because
not anymore. Yeah. But there was an intentional disorganization going on there with Diamond. Diamond kept everybody off kilter on purpose so that they can make money. That was their main reason for being in business. Let us make as much money as we possibly can. We don't care if you go out of business. If you don't meet our standards, you're done. A lot of these guys, they didn't even want to work with. You were and I know a retailer here in our town that got tossed off because he couldn't afford his diamond bill. And because he couldn't afford 1 week, he was screwed, and he knew it. And he saw it happen over and over again because Diamond held on to his comics and made him pay for his comics. And the comic business is very point of week sale book. And if you missed a week and Diamond didn't send you comics, everybody went to the other locations or drove out of town. When you paid Diamond your bill, they sent you the next week from when you last paid whatever comics were left over that were not picked over by other retailers who had reorders. So you ended up with scrap books, and then you had to pay that bill, and you got more scrap books until you caught up, and then maybe you got everything that was on the order form. And retailers, bless them, retailers had to work under Diamond's rules 3 months in advance. So they had to guess a season ahead of how many books that they can sell. They still do. How many books they can sell and how their audience is going to react 3 months from now to any major thing or event.
Jeff says, my son is 15, knows almost as much as I do about Marvel and DC, but has only read a handful of Scott Pilgrim comics. He learned it all from TV, video games, etc. Yeah, and that's okay. I mean,
there's a lot of good videos out there that talk about different periods in comic, different comic characters and what's happened. But Marvel and DC, again, have gone out of their way to make sure none of that matters.
And here's one of our bigger questions, Randy, for the night. There you go.
Q, back from Star Trek. Spare me the SJW Comics Gate bullshit. It's Dembats Republic cunts.
Yep.
You can say that. TVMA, DLSV. All over again. You know who's really making the money. The people pushing the division. The celebrity creators with YouTube channels who tap their Kool-Aid drinkers as pundits for the cause on both sides. The industry is being played like a fiddle. Q, I again, like I keep saying, I can kind of understand your viewpoint, but the people that are these guys that are really making money aren't making money from the same people. Like you said, there's a division going on, and the people that a lot of these YouTube guys are making money off of are people that they're bringing back into the industry who got out years ago. I like to use 2003, 2004 as an example. The Gemis period at Marvel really chased off a lot of people. Heroes Reborn actually chased off a lot of people, even though they used Image talent to try to restructure their books, and they failed. When they came back, every time they reboot these books in the mainstream, you give people a reason to get out. Oh, it's a different Superman. I don't have to read Superman anymore. It's not my Superman. There it goes. And a lot of those people that got out didn't want to stop reading comics. They just wanted to stop reading those comics. And pretty soon, those comics weren't made for them anyway, because there's a whole different propaganda message set up there. So, yeah, it seems like you're getting that hardcore Dembats and Republic of whatever's separation. And you can almost draw that line if you weren't looking at it careful enough. There's a lot of people out there that you're dismissing as people that just want to be entertained by sequential art.
You know, Randy, I was at Wizard World Chicago years ago, about it must have been 2007, 2006 or so, and I cornered Bendis. He was walking the main lobby, and I'm like, holy shit, that's Michael Bendis. I gotta go over there, and I go to him. I get a picture with him, and I just for a second I said, hey, what do you, as a writer, when you're writing comics, what's the most important thing that you're thinking about, when you're doing the story? And he said, I'm a custodian of lore.
Oh.
And
wow.
And
that's a double wow. Wow.
And
holy crap.
But okay.
How long ago was that? It
must have been 2000s. I hadn't met my wife yet, so I'm looking at 2007, 2008.
Yeah, 12 so years ago. Yeah.
And
corner him today and see what he says. See how much he loves that lore.
But he said, I'm a custodian of lore. And I thought,
the creator of Ironheart. Yes. The preserver of lore.
But what hit me about that was the word custodian.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I was like, you know what? Yeah, I mean, I like that. I like the fact that, it's my job to take care of, to upkeep, to make sure, to maintain, to maintenance, and to pass on to the next generation, hopefully in a better condition or the same condition that I found it.
So who up there now is a custodian of lore?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
Even at Valiant or any of the other companies, there's nobody up there that's a custodian of lore.
Yeah, I have no idea. Because the companies they used to hire,
most of these companies want to bury their lore. They don't want to print anything past like 2012 in the even in the mass market books that DC does for Walmart.
Remember when they used to hire company historians? Every company used to have like, hey, you're our X-Men guy, so you're the nerd we hired who knows everything about X-Men. And
well, I remember back when the lore was all important. You had people like Mark Grunwald and Archie Goodwin up there who knew the lore like the back of their hand, that they would track down and ask people. People were amazed at, like, Roy Thomas. Roy Thomas got his job up at Marvel writing for Marvel because he knew so much about Marvel. when they gave him the job. That's why his work so easily dovetails behind Stan's work.
Yeah.
As far as writing, and that's because he knew as much about the characters pretty much as what Stan did at the time.
And
nowadays, hey, you write a young adult novel? Here, we got this female character you can write. How do you like that? Oh, we can't promise you that'll actually get out to the bookstores, but you write it. Yeah.
As far as the divisions are concerned, though, people pushing division. Look, I will say this. I see the division. I understand what he's talking about.
There is money in division and fear. Absolutely.
I've got a few friends who've told me, hey, I won't do a book for you because, you won't say anything bad about this other side. They know I'm not a part of the other side. They just know that I won't say anything bad about the other side, or that I've got somebody else on the project that is from that particular group, so they don't want to work with them. And it's infuriating. Speaking of infuriating, JD Calderon, everyone.
JD Calderon, how you doing?
And
I'm good, guys.
Good evening.
How's it going? Live from New York.
Live from New York.
We should have JD introduce himself to the radio audience.
Go ahead, JD, and I'll give you the radio numbers after you finish.
All right. How you doing, everybody? My name is JD Calderon. I'm the writer and creator of the Oswald Chronicles and the YouTube channel Indie Comics Explained. So there you go. We'll keep it nice and short. There you go.
JD, I know you're just getting here for this question. I don't know if you read it, if you were listening along beforehand.
No, I was.
But it's up there on the screen. Basically, we had someone that said, spare me the SJW, Comicsgate bullshit. It's them batch and Republicans all over again. You know who's really making the money? The people pushing the division. The celebrity creators of YouTube channels who tap their Kool-Aid drinkers as pundits for the cause on both sides. The industry is being played like a fiddle. And that's from Q. I see you gave the what do you think?
Hey, listen, it looks like Q got it all figured out. What are we here for? Right? I mean, look, listen, people doing whatever they can to get noticed, right? Whether it be EVS or anybody else from the other side, everybody's trying to make a buck, everybody's trying to make a living, and that's all there is to it. I mean, there's nothing beyond that. If you consider that nefarious, just dig yourself a hole and jump in it, because everybody has to go out and make a nickel somehow, right? This is how they decided to do it. This is how they're pursuing it. This is how they're getting their audience in. And look, they're guys like me. I'm not a pundit. I just go out there and I talk about indie comics. But, do I want a crowd? Sure. I want to produce my comics. I want to share it out with as many people as I can. And that's all they're doing. And in the end, I guarantee you, that's truly all they want. They just want to produce their comics and sell them to people who are hopefully appreciating them.
Would you consider yourself a pundit at all?
No. I mean, maybe a pundit for independent comics.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. But not for anything else. I'm not interested in, whatever political leanings you have. As you can, you can keep that in your hat, buddy. I don't care about it.
Yeah. I think that the division that we're seeing isn't as it's funny when I bring people from both sides together and say, all right, talk. They find generally they're coming from the same point of view.
Right.
The only thing that's different is that you picked up this cap, you picked up that cap. That's the only difference. And I mean, maybe fundamentally, once they keep talking, it might be a big difference, or a small difference that they blow out of proportion. But I think that there are some people, though, in our industry that are toxic, that do want that division. And that's fine, too. Let them go off and do their own thing.
Well, the thing is, you have to ask yourself the question, right? Why is it they want that division? Why is it that they're creating this chaos? Why is it they're doing this? Why? Because they're doing the same thing those other guys are doing. They're getting an audience together that they themselves can manipulate and make money off.
Well, I don't know about the make money off of part on some of that.
It depends. We don't know where everybody gets financed from, right?
Well, we also got to remember too, what, like, for certain people, like 12,000 is just as good as, an EVS pulling out 400, 500, a million for a product. Somebody making 12 grand, like that's just that to them, that's success.
Well, and
for some
there are
people-
also some political zealots, that's the word, out there who really don't care how much money they make as long as their political opinion gets out there.
for my wife and her book, one sale is gonna make her feel like Josh Grisham.
There you go.
I tell you, the funny thing is Lola started making art prints.
Mhm.
She started doing this thing where she would draw these circles and she would make them look like superheroes.
Mhm.
And she's like, I want to make prints, and I'm like, I'm gonna humor you. and so we started doing 11 by 17 prints, and I put them on my table. Now that everybody know that's my wife's art, you know, you don't have to look at it. And because she's not, she can draw, but she's not an artist. She hasn't, you know.
I think you're
Well,
about to get a high heel up next to your skull.
Oh, she sleeps. I don't worry about this now.
She's-
Maybe tomorrow. Yeah. And so what happened is that people bought the artwork.
Mhm.
And I look over there and she's beaming now. She's
Mhm.
you know, and I'm like, are you shitting me?
I remember your son at the show selling artwork.
My son, yeah.
Yeah.
My son has sold
It was a big
artwork.
day.
Yeah, and he did really well. I mean,
Yeah.
he came home like, and it's funny because he's been very mad because he's like, I need a Comic-Con, Daddy. And I'm like, son, there's no Comic-Cons. How am I gonna make money?
I got to get that disposable income.
yeah.
Needs to get that PS6.
Yeah. I told you, he's got stuff. He's got, you know, the funny thing is the kid got 17 games for Christmas. I thought it was 16. It was actually 17 games for we got a Nintendo Switch for Christmas and 17 games for that system. And I said, you know, you shouldn't be bored for a while. He's like, yeah.
There we go. She's not that asleep.
Yeah, there she is. Yeah.
Thanks for listening, Lola.
Yeah.
If you come up and beat him with one of your high heels, it'll just add to the flavor of the show.
Yeah.
So you know everybody will laugh.
Yeah, she should be asleep.
And she says you're jealous.
She should be asleep. It's way past her bedtime. She's an old woman now.
I don't know why you're saying those kind of things when you're under the same roof.
Exactly. I already told you there's gonna be a morning you don't wake up.
Yeah.
You're still a good shoe toss away, you know.
Yeah. I think she'd still be awake. It's unfortunate.
But
Just
Randy,
be careful how you throw it, Lola, so that you miss the monitors.
Yeah.
But Randy, as far as your zealots go, I mean, I agree with you. There are zealots who don't care, but those people either come from one of two places. They're either one, who have enough money and enough support that they can take those types of attitudes.
Oh no, they think they've got enough the money and the support.
Well, right. I mean, whatever the case may be, right? Or
R.I.P. Variant. Yeah.
there you go. You know what I'm saying? Or they're either being financed by somebody else, or they're like just crazy. You know, I mean, they just have just nutty opinions.
They're just they're just political zealots.
Right.
So, very much like religion. You run into religious zealots also.
Of course.
You know?
So I guess, guys, the question is, do you see that though? Are there any creators? And you don't say any names, but are there any creators that are making money just simply because they are a celebrity creator in crowdfunding, or is it, you know, is it that these people have actually built themselves a client base or a customer base? And because, like, for me, Mike Turner is one of my favorite artists. So they mentioned Mike Turner on a project. You know, it's a cover I've seen 1,000 times, maybe repurposed, slightly edited, and I'm all over it. Right. It's happened a number of times. I really should be smarter about that. But
I was just gonna say,
comics are awesome.
And he's a case of an actual movie celebrity coming into the comic book market and
making bank on a book that's not even coming out until like the end of next year.
Yeah. So
baby.
He's, but like, are there any, are we backing
from a company that had its own financial backing too, by the way?
Right. So like, okay, I'm going to go back this guy's book. I like this guy. But I'll back his book.
He did bring a lot of attention to crowdfunding campaigns.
It's kind of like a celebrity director in a way.
Now, like, we're talking about Keanu Reeves, obviously.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I didn't back it. And the reason I didn't back it is because, it's going to come out through previews, and I'm going to get it much cheaper through previews and the service that I buy my books from. I'm going to probably get them at 50% off. So, I mean, if you wanted to back it that way, great. I'll wait.
Some women can use those high heels as a boomerang, dude.
Yeah, man's gonna get the American made treatment from the tick if he keeps going. Yeah,
There you go. Yep.
So
I keep
also,
warning him.
yeah, I should learn my lesson, and one day I will. One day I'll
Not until after you've probably taken a good beating.
Yeah, I'll come on the show one day. My hat will be all skinned and
have a big dent in his forehead.
Disheveled. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the energy is being played. I think that we do have people.
No, I think there are. I think Q has a little bit of a point that there are people out there that are doing that, but that's because the YouTubers that are out there that are successful know how to be successful, and that's to ride that rail around the pundit or shock jock level. A lot of these guys that are popular have a shtick, and they come out and they stick to it, and they're able to build an audience off of that shtick, just like a regular shock jock, like your Tom Likas or your Howard Sterns or Bob and Tom or people like that. And a lot of the times they can get pretty repetitive because they're hitting and poking the same note over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
But how much money that makes, I don't know. It took if we reach back on Ethan, it took him a couple years to build up an audience.
Right.
I mean, I think that we're just now building up a worldwide audience of folks that are listening to us on a regular basis. I don't consider us to be pundits, maybe commentators, maybe educators, but I don't know if pundit is really I guess I would have to really look up the word pundit. It's too close to pungent for me.
Again though, I mean, you look at his ego is going to swell to ridiculous levels and numbers, but you look at Travis Gibb, who just closed out another project. He's made Travis Gibb. Oh, he just did 20, he did 20,000. That's great for Travis. He's happy with that number.
20,000 with 120 creators.
Yeah, he had a lot of people behind him with that book. So there is this, he made good money on that book. Now, I don't know if I've never talked to him, is that a living for Travis? And what do you consider making a living? Right. It depends on what because there are some people who are okay with, making, $1,000 a month. There are people who are married to my wife who know that that's poverty level. Who, no, you can't. $1,000 a month is, oh my God, no, we're broke. There are people like that, that you have to, bring in a lot more.
I just happen to remember I haven't changed my my status over on my Facebook page. I was wondering why the chat wasn't that big. Sorry.
I want to bring up the fact that Grandpa's Comics is there are always people who will stir the pot. As a result, creates a market. Ethan Man Skyver, Gail Simone, Renfamous. Yeah, the name should not be on. She's gonna come now. She's gonna show up.
Just don't say it 3 times. You're safe.
Okay. All right. He's got a great point though. Yeah. There
we go. Great point. Clifton King is listening to us off of my Facebook. We welcome you, buddy. Do you have any radio numbers?
I do. Our radio number right now, we are sitting at a balmy So now we're sitting at 48,614. 48,614. And
it'll pick up as we go along.
Yeah, really excited to have you guys. Right now, Ireland listening. Ireland, first time on here that I have seen the islands. Hello, Jamaica. How are you guys?
Wow. Cool.
Yeah. So that's really cool. Now, from Indie Vault Radio, says Varian, you mentioned that streaming and getting an audience is rather difficult and tricky. I am scheduled to go on a new comic book show in 4 weeks' time. I've already paid my $100 deposit for my spot on the show.
Whoa!
What?
Yeah.
Listen, tell him I'm still waiting for my check. I will be more than happy to have him on my show.
Yeah. JD Calderon is all. Yeah, he's and that is from Mitch actually. Mitchum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mitchum.
Mitchum, what are you paying for?
Serious, I'll even send you some books, Mitch.
Yeah. We
somebody there doing a PT Barnum type of routine and making people pay for spots.
I
Unless
had
you're advertising, then that's different. We can take on sponsors. I mean, we'd love to have sponsors, but people come on this show for free.
I had someone tell me to charge people. In the very early days of Indie Vote, someone told me to charge people to come on the show, and I think that person may have made a bit of money off of some people. I think they actually charged somebody, around me. I had no idea. The money I never got any of it. But they went around me like, hey, I'll put you on the show. Pay me, I'll handle it. I'll give you a discount. Don't worry.
Not on this show, I hope.
No, but it was related to Indie Vault. Nah, it was, it's
holy crap.
But nothing bad ever happened. I think they paid the person. They were on the show. I think they paid the person, and
I guess we'll keep our eyes open. Who's starting a show in 4 weeks that actually charges people to be on it? Jesus Christ!
Well, yeah. The show. I think the show is actually going on now, but like they said, they're scheduled. He mentioned the schedule to be on there in 4 weeks. But you asked me for the tips that I was talking about when finding good shows. Mitch, what I would say to you is this. Again, I've talked about the streaming. Oh, go ahead.
I was just looking at the chat, and Joe had mentioned something.
Oh, yeah. It might be time for the. Yeah, yeah. That is the grift of the week. Being charged to come on one of these shows.
Holy crap! That's like some of the stories I used to hear about Diamond.
Yeah,
charging to put your cover image into the previews or whatever. Holy crap!
And unfortunately, Mitch, what I'll tell you is this: how you asked me for some tips, and what I talked about last time to elaborate on that. But what I was mentioning was when you're streaming, there are people who will tell you, well, look, you need to pay to come on my show because we get this many viewers, we get that many viewers. And I said before, the reason why a lot of people don't like StreamYard, or I forget the other program that just like StreamYard. There's another one, forget the name of it. I'm sorry, but we use StreamYard. The reason why some people don't like it is because it snatches that veil of numbers down, and you see how many people you got watching live right now. It's over in your left-hand corner. You see it. Whereas if you go on Facebook, Facebook will tell you later on, you've had 100 views. Well, listen, I'm not the only, you can Google this. This is public information. Go and Google it. Ask Google, how does Facebook count views? And what you find is that Facebook counts any video that plays for at least 3 seconds. And that's aided by the fact that the Facebook videos autoplay in your news feed. So it's not that you actually had 100, or that person actually had 100 views in that video. It's just that 100 of their friends zoomed past it. Whether they stop the engagement, looking for is engagement. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Get your face out there, get on as many shows as you possibly can. But when someone uses those numbers to justify making you pay, no, call them out on it and say absolutely not, because I don't see you getting the engagement. If you want to know if they're actually getting those YouTube numbers, what you do, YouTube or Facebook, but especially Facebook numbers, is go on and look at their video and see if Facebook stuck an ad in there. If Facebook stuck an ad in there, that means Facebook knows the video is retaining people. People are watching the video and it's retaining them. And that's why they want to stick that ad in there, because they know people are watching it. Also, same thing with with the engagement. You want to see if people are talking to the people on the video.
Like we've had times that the chat's just been slaughtered.
Right. Let me see here.
Or here, if I remove JD for a minute, you can see up above there of all of the different places that we're at.
Yeah,
we're on multiple platforms, so we get a large spectrum of people. We try to spread it out among a bunch of folks. So if you're up on Facebook, you go, they only got 51 views on Facebook. That doesn't remotely compare to Indie Volt Radio.
Right, and that's why people always say, why don't you get rid of the radio? It's like, no way, I can't.
No, not when you've got people contacting us literally from all over the world.
Yeah.
I just picked up a friend from Spain today, by the way. Pretty awesome.
See, so where they're using stuff like,
Alexandro, hello.
whether you stuff like InPlayer or Livestorm, it's funny. Restream is actually now their slogan, and this is sad. Guys, you know how long Restream has been out? Restream has been out for years. Restream has been out there for years, and their new slogan or their new tagline is the number one alternative to StreamYard. It's like when you put your competition in your slogan.
That's like, hey, we're number 2, but we try harder.
Yeah, but
we've been around longer than StreamYard. We don't know where you've been. Yeah.
But there's the cast, but there's all these programs, and there are people who will tell you don't use those programs because here's the thing: there are some people, guys. I hate to say it, but they have a vested interest in making sure that these programs don't and these services and whatnot don't become the norm. Because
look at all of that publicity that Parler took on.
Right.
Because they had an open door policy for you could go up there and say whatever you wanted to. Just like Facebook had that policy up until a couple of years ago.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine if all of a sudden there was, say, in comics, some type of I know with like working with some printers, some printers will actually ask if you want the union bug on your flyer or whatever you're getting printed.
Put that TCA stamp back up on it.
And it'll cost more. But could you imagine if there was some type of system where we had to pay to be officially recognized as official? Now, there are people, and I've said this before.
It's been tried before. It just doesn't last very long. So you never really hear about it for a long time.
There are people who are interested in making sure that StreamYard and platforms like this don't become the norm because they don't want to pay for it. I mean, that's all it comes down to it. And like I said it last week, I know that I might have ruffled a few feathers. I've never seen as many broke, successful people in my life. Oh, I'm doing really good. I'm doing really, really well, man. I'm killing it out here. I am not paying.
There's the word ass in there somewhere.
Yeah. I am not paying.
Ass people.
Yeah.
So successful.
I'm not paying. I think what is my StreamYard? My StreamYard. I got the grandfather price, but it's not much of a difference. But
well, they just recently had a sale where you could get it for $10 a month. It's a little bit like it's another package. So it's better than the free package. So you're on like 3 different levels, and it gives you a few of the perks, but you still have the little logo in the corner.
Yeah.
So I got that. I booked it for a year. It was like $96. You understand? So
And you know what? And I'm sure if the money comes in and things start looking good for you, you'll update to the next package. Or some people who just do not want to, and so what they try to do is they try to dissuade people from no, you don't want to use StreamYard sucks. No. And then, come on my program. By the way, my program, I got over 8,000 views on Facebook, which you can pay for, by the way. And on top of that, pay me $100 on my show. That poor man, Mitchum, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you got taken. Mitchum. And it sucks. Anybody else want to say anything to Mitchum about his wallet? And rest in peace to his wallet.
The only thing I can advise to Mitchum is the one piece of advice I got about getting on these shows. Get on as many as you can, whether they have 1 listener, 10,000 listeners, it doesn't matter, because the more people that see you, the better, because those 2 or 3 people that see you on that one show may be the ones that back you, whereas you can go on a show with 10,000 listeners and nobody will back you. So
Gampus Comic-Con, he says there's a TV show called 8 West in my area that charges people to talk about their business on the air, something like $1,000 for 10 minutes of time. I get asked to be on it all the time. I keep saying no. Yeah, $1,000 for 10 minutes. That what they're doing? They're getting their little spoons when they go in the back office. That's the only thing. That can
no, that's your conjecture. Come on.
That's my opinion. I could be wrong.
Sometimes they inject it.
Exegy Studio says yes, that does happen. Looking at an art who published under a company who begins with S and ends in E, and their comics are trying to be The bomb. Oh, that's
What?
artist.
No. What? I didn't catch that. S and ends with E.
Yeah, that kind of be the bomb.
It
Yeah,
ends
yeah.
with S and ends source point.
No. That doesn't even. But they're gonna send us a nasty letter one day.
Ends with a T.
I
I guess we're gonna have to talk off the air.
Pop says, I have never asked for anything. I would sell actual aspects between guests if anyone wants about 30-second spots, but that's about it. Selling aspects is totally fine.
I was gonna say that. Send us $100 and see how many times we run your ad, buddy.
Yeah. I've had to reverse people who want us to pay them to be a guest. Yeah, see, yeah, we've had that too. We've had somebody ask me, do they get paid? And I'm like,
that's the time you need to have that laugh track on a button.
Yes.
You want us to pay you?
You've actually had someone ask you to pay them to be on the show. Was it like George Perez or John Byrne?
No. It was
Neil Gaiman.
No, it was a regular guy.
It might be easy to get. Well, George Perez. I might be able to get George on.
I'll tell you. There was
for no cost.
There was a comic book. There was a promoter who asked for $500 to come on too.
A promoter?
A promoter of Comic Con asked for $500 to come on.
You should have said you should be paying me $500.
Yeah, he asked me. Yeah, I was told through his people that he needed $500 to make an appearance, and he could be here for 45 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he was a show promoter.
Yeah.
Wow.
And hadn't done anything else in the industry?
You would know a lot better than me.
I must be really
so.
cheap.
Yeah.
Send it to me in the private chat. Do it now.
Okay.
Seriously.
Okay.
I need to know.
Right.
Yeah, because that sounds like someone who needs to be mocked and ridiculed.
We'll mock the shit out of him. No, just kidding.
Well, you can't mock it. Well, I'll get in all kinds of trouble.
No, we don't want you to get in trouble, but I am very curious as to who would, because I either that or I need to change my pricing structure.
Mm-hmm. That's funny.
There you go.
I have no idea who that is.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Now I know who that is.
Yeah. He's like, oh, yeah. So, yeah, that was. I couldn't.
Did you want me to work on that?
I'm ashamed to say that I almost considered it.
Wow.
And I was like,
no.
I was like,
no. Short of Neil Gaiman or Alan Moore, and you could and like I said, Alan Moore you could probably get for free.
No.
Neil Gaiman, maybe. Oh no, you don't think so? Maybe.
No, I don't think. Well, some people are camera shy, then just don't want to go on the air on a regular basis, or that want to do a quick pod or quick question and answer. They might be willing to do a taped interview as long as they can control the questions. But
right. Well, but with Alan though, all you have to do is ask one question. He'll talk for 40 minutes. So don't have nobody else on.
Mm-hmm.
Just
hi, we're here to converse with Alan Moore for 40 minutes. Alan Moore, your question today is this.
Exactly.
But
see you in 40, folks. Yeah.
There's also from another Indie Vote radio question here, and
yeah, I had no idea that was going on.
Yeah, that was about.
You don't keep me in the loop on nothing.
That's about 4 months ago. I didn't tell you that. Yeah.
No, you did not.
Yeah.
Funny.
That would be kind of a okay.
Oof. From anybody, Varian, I'm interested in getting into comics, but I don't understand. I don't understand the history. I don't understand some of the situations that creators find themselves in. I just want to make comics. I don't feel like I need to research every facet of the industry.
Oof.
And
how do you know you're not going to make a mistake somebody just made 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Unless you're aware of what's going on in the industry.
And that's from Alex. And who wants to get on the soapbox first? Can I get on my soapbox first?
But yeah, sure. But before you do that, I just want to say I admire Alex for wanting to work, because that is so rare anymore. As somebody that just, hey, I just want to do comics. Leave me alone. Just let me alone. Let me do. Let me be productive. I I wish I had that that kind of fortitude where I could just stay at the board all day and do nothing, but draw. I mean, but do comics. That would be cool.
I know I'm getting a lot of trouble for saying this because you take me out of context, and I know a lot of the weirders will. It sounds bad, but if you know me, you know that this, and you watch the show and you know me, and I printed my first comic book 12 years ago, and it's back in 2008. So you need to understand that this is my business. No respect to anybody else who has, I respect anybody who has a 9 to 5 and everything. I've been somewhat blessed in that I've been able to just focus on just comics. So it is my business. I wake up in the morning, it's about, pop culture entertainment. That's pretty much all day for me. And I'm blessed to be in that position. Point of privilege. That's what they say. So I don't have a lot of distractions. I take it seriously, and for me, I appreciate when other people do the same. I guess it's indelicate sometimes when I say there's too many fans in the bullpen. I guess that's indelicate, and that seems like it's kind of harsh.
But you're not wrong.
Yeah, it's just like if you want to make comics, go ahead. I'm all for it. Anybody on this panel tonight will help you make comics. I'm referring to people who get in the business and they refuse to educate themselves. They don't care about the history, the structure, and it pisses me off is they don't want to even know about it. I know a publisher of indie comics right here in Michigan, and they no longer have a company, but I remember
that's what usually happens when you're not aware of what your competition is doing.
Right. I remember telling them, "Hey guys, have you seen this is going on?" And they were like, "Oh man, we don't do any drama, man. We don't do any drama. I don't care about any of that, man. I just want to." And I'm like, "Well, I understand, but this is going on. This is going to shape the industry for the next couple of months, if not years. You might want to take a look at this." Oh no, man. As a matter of fact, one of the guys, he refused to look at a Facebook post. There was posts from people that were speaking out on some predatory behavior, and he didn't want to read it. He's like, "I'm not reading that, dude. I like that guy. He's been cool to me, blah 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 blah." And I'm like, no one said you gotta make it, but look here. You realize? Have you seen this shit? And I'm anti-drama. He doesn't care about the industry. He doesn't care. I mean, again, some of their claims of fame is that I talked to this.
A lot of that drama you shouldn't give a care about.
You shouldn't, but at the same time, it's like when shit is happening and it's going to affect you. You have to look at it, and you should be aware of what's going on. All I'm asking is you be aware of it and understand. And they didn't want to. They refused to, and now they're paying the price for it because they no longer have a company. Rebel Gaming says word. And then Jason Moore said a show promoter asked you $500. A show promoter did. I can't think. I'm not gonna think what state they're from. But a show promoter.
No. I handled it. The situation's been handled, sir.
Yeah. And
all good.
And I was
it is time.
Yeah. I was shocked to find out that people just. I understand you don't want to get involved in drama. No one's asking you to start, tossing in words, but just be aware of what's going on and be aware of how this industry works. That's all I'm asking.
There's a difference between knowing how the industry works and knowing who's doing what in the quilting circles.
Right.
You need to know how the industry works. Absolutely. Right. You do. And you need to know how other people are working the industry, because you never know when an idea is going to strike you, because we're all in a creative field here and we're all trying to do things creatively. And one creative idea could spawn 2 more creative ideas, which spawns 3 more creative ideas, that the original guy with the first creative idea sees what everybody else does and does it better.
And I want to say too,
and that lifts up the entire industry.
There are some job titles in this industry that if you accept or you take, you don't have that luxury. Mm-hmm. So it's like, again, a talent. What if you were talent? what's the word? And
Or
the person who
director?
goes out and gets talent,
Talent
recruiter.
director?
Yeah, talent recruiter, talent director who is easily triggered by whatever. You know, you don't need to be a talent director. Get the fuck out of that position.
Mhm.
If you are a publisher of comics, you can't say la 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 la. You can't, because you have to know if you just hired on somebody who's going to be a nuisance to your company because of maybe they were on a racist tirade 3 weeks ago online, but you won't bother to look it up. Yeah, Talent Scout says, yeah, that's what it was. I don't get it. And people who do that, you know, if you don't have the time to do it, then hire somebody to do it, or don't get in the business. Just be a creator. Just be a creator. That way you don't have to worry about that. But if you're going to be a publisher and you're putting all people's hopes and dreams on your back, and you're going to be the ship, and then you go out there in the middle of the ocean and sink because you didn't bother to do the research, makes me sick.
You don't want to make the same mistake that somebody else made just a few weeks ago, and there's lots of mistakes constantly being made. That's why we have this program,
Yeah.
not just to talk about everybody's mistake.
Yeah.
Just remember that our feedback will be better because of your setback.
Question here for JD Calderon.
Oh,
Question for JD here, and it says, JD. Okay, actually it says JR, but I think it's JD. But in regards to your comics, how long have you been making them? And I'm sorry, because the writing is I don't know, it's definitely not English. How long are you making them? And do you see any growth financially year by year?
Good question. I've been doing it for a long time. I started in 92. Okay, now as far as growth financially, it's a weird thing, because take something like Tall Tales, which I've been working on since the beginning, right? We have sold it, resold it, packaged it, repackaged it, sold it again, and sold it again. Now here's the thing. Daphne and I, we've collected that money, we've divvied that money, we've spent that money, and we've done that time and time again, over and over and over again. Now, as far as have I ever seen growth, I don't keep track of it, because this is my very expensive hobby. Some people like to take it as, this is what I'm going to do for my business. If it gets to that point, so be it. It hasn't reached that point for me. The reason being is that I'm lazy as a fuck when it comes down to promoting my work. I really do have a problem of sitting down and telling people my stuff is truly the greatest thing you're ever going to read. There are a lot of writers out there, they will tell you that, and it's bullshit. Absolute bullshit. I can't even tell you how many times I've had a guy tell me this is the greatest book since whatever, and it's garbage. I know. I've funded a lot of those Kickstarters. You understand? I do my work. I try to do the best I can. You understand? I think I'm a good writer. People have told me so. I don't know. You understand? I've been paid professionally. I've had people call me. People I don't know call me and say, "Do you want a job? Would you write this stuff for me?" Sure. And they paid me. Okay, whatever that means, that means. You understand?
Have you ever had anybody call you to tell you if you pay them $100, you can be on their podcast?
No, I haven't had to strangle anybody recently. No. but
plus, JD, you're in New York City, and that's not cheap.
No, no, it's not. But I mean, like I said, for me, as far as growth financially, you understand, that's on the individual. You understand? If I really wanted to go financially grow, I've made it a point that I only go on a few shows. I come on this show, I have my show, but I haven't reached out to a lot of shows to be on their shows. I could be doing a show 2 or 3 times a night. But the thing is I like to sleep, I like to eat, I like to read books, I like to watch TV, and I like to write.
Yeah.
And those are my main focuses. I'm comfortable. You understand? I'm fat for a reason. I'm comfortable. You understand? It's like, so those are just the truths that you have to look to within yourself. You understand? Those are the truths of myself that I know. Those are some people consider those weaknesses. You can come to me and ask me if it's a weakness. And when I poke you in the eye, you'll understand it's not a weakness. you know, it's just who I am. You understand? I'm willing to accept that. A lot of people are not willing to accept these things, or a lot of people don't even know how to see these things in themselves. You know, but you got to try. You know, do the best work you can, produce the best work you can produce. If you really want to put the pedal to the metal, go on as many shows as you can, promote the hell out of it. You understand? And if the work is good, you'll succeed. But, you know, more likely than not, the work's not going to be that good.
Yeah,
but good luck to you.
I remember watching Lola would write down our cost every show.
Right.
And at the end of the shows, in this book she kept, she wrote down what we made that year. And so she started making sure that she wrote down what we made in 2012, 2013 for the year. And I was really happy that, you know, up until 2019, which, you know, was our last year of being able to do cons, that there was always growth. It wasn't always by leaps and bounds, but it was growth. It was, you know, hey, look, I remember the first time I noticed 2000 and it was like, okay, this is good. 2014, we had jumped from 2012 by a couple grand. And I'm like, this is good. We're making money.
Yeah.
You know, and it kept growing and kept growing. And you would see, you know, some years, you know, and you know, your record keeping really shows you, you know, oh man, you know, we didn't make as much money this year. But the weirdest thing, I remember one year we did less shows, made more money. It was very weird. It's like, how did that happen?
But that could be because maybe your expenses went down.
Yeah, it was you know, I think it was a little bit of that, and I think it was too that we had more books available. We didn't have, whereas, you know, before, you know, we had like 4 titles. Now we had 8, and so people were making multiple purchases. They were buying T-shirts, they were buying hats.
Now, were you marking just the money coming in, or were you also weighing that up against the money going out?
We were just looking at sales, just sales. Just sales, not what we had spent, but just sales. And you know, weighing it up against, there was one point though, and I joke about this all the time. Lola's grandparents worked for years for Doubletree. In fact, her grandmother retired out of the Holiday Inn thing, and we could stay at any Holiday Inn owned hotel. And not only were we staying with the screw friends and family, you don't want to do that. You want the employee discount. We were staying in suites for $35 to $39 a night.
Wow.
Nice.
And I'm talking about, you know, suites. And I remember there was a point where I started, you know, I tried to share the wealth. So I would get 2, because you could get up to 2 rooms. So I would get 2 rooms, and I would always put it out there. Hey, you know, amongst, you know, some of my friends who were traveling. Hey man, you know, you do need a room. You know, you got to pay for it, but you know, you need a room. And Eric would normally take me up on that and take the second room that I had, which is great because there was always seemed to be a Doubletree connected to or in walking distance from the convention center. So it was always really nice. But that will drop your convention totals down, or your
overhead.
You gotta pay, down tremendously. And that make sure you get a van with good mileage, because because my minivan gets great mileage. But go ahead.
Ray, let me just finish. Just to really answer the question, yes, I've had year-over-year growth. And here's the thing for me is that when I initially started, let's say the Oswald Chronicles, which I pay out of my own pocket, I started that project paying it out of my own pocket. I've got it now where what I'm making from it is paying about 95%. So I'm only taking a small bit out of my pocket these days. So I hope that helps.
The fun of having a hobby.
Yeah, exactly. I don't I think for me, I know Randy's always told me, you know, make sure that when you're, you know, you write everything down. Yes. And you get yourself a good CPA. And I finally took them up on it, getting the CPA to look at my, you know, taxes. And it's
And you want a CPA that handles small businesses,
yeah,
and a lot, as many of them as possible. Still a mom and pop operation, because they'll look out for you the most.
and it has been great. I mean, my
Yeah.
internet is in my company's name.
Yeah.
I got a PO box that I'm gonna be able to write off.
Mhm.
A cell phone
Mhm.
that I'm gonna be able to write off.
Mhm.
Computer equipment. I just found out, I was talking to my CPA, because of putting out comics and being a creator. When you take in entertainment yourself, that's something you can write off, because
I was going to say, you're part of the entertainment industry. I learned that from my accountant first time I walked in.
Yeah.
You're part of the entertainment industry. Anything that you buy is research.
Yeah.
Because you're learning from everything that you're seeing and everything that you're doing.
Right.
It's just like getting to know the market. You have to see it all. You have to see as much as possible. And every comic you buy, every book you buy, every movie you see, every movie you buy, it's all part of your research.
Mm-hmm. From John Taylor. John Taylor says, "Hey guys, he mentions what we're just talking about. I started a comic company 2 years ago, and unfortunately, when I went to license it, I had chosen a name that was already taken. Hastily, I chose another name, and unfortunately licensed my company as an Inc. It has cost me several $100s more than it would have if I would have licensed as an LLC.
Yep.
John Taylor, you got to be very careful of that. Does anybody know John Taylor? Does anybody know him? Okay.
I don't know.
From Indie Vote Radio. Anyway, John, I know people who've done that. I know people who, it's weird. You can't put I would have loved to have called my comic company Wet Ink Comics, or Wet Ink Inc. That'd have been funny to me. But yeah. But you can't put ink in your company unless it's actually INC, unless it's actually incorporated. And you don't want to have an incorporation if you're not making corporation money.
Yes.
And you gotta remember, Marvel's LLC for a reason. For a while they were LLC. I know
they're probably a division of Disney.
Now,
Incorporated now. Yeah.
Around the time of that first Iron Man movie, they were an LLC. There's a reason for that. So don't go out and make yourself an Inc. unless you're planning on doing big business.
And you don't need to incorporate. And again, an accountant would help you with that. You don't need to incorporate unless you're pulling down $40,000.
Yeah. I mean, and even then, try to avoid it.
And even then, yes, you want to consult your accountant on that, because it's the easiest way for you spend money, but you save so much in return.
I'm gonna be able to write off my streaming services this year.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
it's all expense of doing business. What's our radio number now?
Right now, Randy, we are at, give me a second, 61944.
You wouldn't be able to reach 61944 without him paying for the internet service,
which I'm writing off. I'm writing all of this off at the end of the year. Oh, look at the losses. Tremendous losses. I'm gonna go in there like Trump.
We appreciate everybody who listens to us, though. We deeply do.
I'm gonna go in there and use words like, yeah, I've lost money, sad.
Well, look at all these corporations out there that do that work in the negative, say they're working in the negative, but they're making money. They just figured out tax wise how to finagle. Well, I had I told you a couple of years ago, I had my accountant tell me that I was making so much in profit that it was time for me to reinvest in my business, or I'd be investing in the federal government.
Mm-hmm.
So it was time to go out and get the new system,
Exenergy Studio says, no, this is where you get a business lawyer and accountant. So now, Exenergy Studio Inc. is a subchapter S and not an LLC. Well, yeah, but
there you go.
That's subchapter S. Yeah, that's fine too. But I know I have a friend who licensed his company as an Inc. and he couldn't pay that yearly. In Michigan, you have to pay a yearly fee, and he couldn't pay it. So they dissolved his company. Mm-hmm. And his company's now, as far as state of Michigan is concerned, his company is no more.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you've got a bunch of titles and contracts with people, that's all.
You have to have that outside protection.
Yeah, that's no
You
point.
start dealing with a lot of contracts. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want that.
No.
Yeah, he was a I think he was a C Corp Inc. and he didn't pay that license fee, and now he's without a company. I mean,
Zero Corp.
Yeah. Also, and one of the questions that came in from Indie Boat Radio, one of the ones that came in this morning was, guys, now that we're past the election of 2020, and a clear victor has been chosen.
Now that it looks like we're past.
Yeah, now it looks like I see and predict that things are going to get worse as far as the culture war is coming. Like we once had World War II, we're going to have the pop culture war too. More lines, switching of sides. Do you guys? Am I just being paranoid, or do you guys sense this in the air as well? And that is from Percy.
I'm gonna do a video.
Culture War 2, Pop Culture War 2, which is actually in the. That's why this is an old question that came in last show, but it's one of the headlines of this show. Do we sense a Pop Culture War 2 coming? Me, I hope to God not, but I know better than be optimistic in this industry, and I could see. I don't know how it's going to go down, but yeah. There's going to be some resistance to things that may have panned out this year, But
I think you're going to be seeing, and this is my doom and gloom prediction for 21. I should do a video on this. I really should. But I think the situation out there is going to be so tumultuous, and the fact that there will or will not be conventions, and I don't think we might have passed the midpoint on this bug BS. There's going to take a lot of re-education, a lot of science learning, a lot of understanding with a lot of crossed fingers, because man, that next 3 weeks we're going to see people get vaccinated with that second dose. We're going to see what happens. I'm waiting to see what happens. That's just me though. But we still have to get past this election, and believe it or not, we're not past it yet, which is why the guy in the White House isn't going to concede until after at least next week or week after next, when everything gets ratified through the Senate. That's got to happen yet. And I'm not saying that it's going to go one way or another, but I'm not betting on anything until after that happens. And then once the presidency calms down, I suspect you might see you're either going to see a whole lot more turmoil, or you're going to see a kind of a golden age where everybody's going to be trying to rebound the economy. And if that happens, even now, you all know, everybody at least here in the States, all of your individual states, your economy's in the shitter. Whether you know it or not, you're given a Band-Aid called stimulus package that they had to pass through as fast as now they're arguing over whether the individual, the little peon, the minions, deserve more money. Well, in order to sustain the economy for a little bit longer, they're arguing now about giving us another $1,400. That's like 3 times the payment that is going out this week. So, and that's just a Band-Aid patch over this economy. And the cool thing is, the bad thing is everybody's in for a hard time. I don't think we've seen the economic basement hit yet on the individual states and the nation economy. The cool thing is, to sound totally mercenary, comics always thrive during a depression. Always. When there's hard times, people turn to entertainment, and they turn to good entertainment. That's why we need to be out there doing the best, most entertaining stuff we possibly can. Screw the politics, screw the drama, do great comics. That's the thing that we need to do right now, because that's the only way we're going to get our business to grow. And if I grow, you grow, they all grow. Everybody grows. The more attention we pull back to this art form and how great it is, and I'm pointing at my spiral rack, the more attention we pull back to this art form, the more money everybody's going to make. So we all need to go out and figure out how to get past the retailer, how to get into the stores, how to go out and get to the public, not the comic readers necessarily, but the public. We need to figure out how to get out there to the public and to show them how great this art form is and get them buying us.
Speaking of good comics and good entertainment, I don't know if you guys know this, but Geekgasm's own Meredith Lochner, she launched her Kickstarter.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
There it is right there. Her book, The Compendium of Dread. There it is.
Anthology of Dark Fiction. That's a prose book, right?
Yep, it's a prose book. She crossed her goal today. $500 goal. She's at 505. And 29 is at the goal, guys. And you can check that out over on Kickstarter. I'm gonna play the video here. Real quick.
Sure. Can your sound be up on this?
Yeah, I got the sound. I believe I can. We'll see.
Hello. Can anybody hear me?
Welcome to the Compendium of Dread, an anthology of dark fiction that encompasses crime, horror, the paranormal. Your perceptions of the world around you may forever be changed.
And that launched today, the Compendium of Dread from good old Meredith. She's not in the chat, but I'm sure she'll see this later. And really excited for this one. I backed it. I backed the $17 tier.
She's not on another podcast. She had to pay money for, to be honest. She.
I don't think so. So. She is. We're going to definitely talk about her badly.
Just asking.
Yeah, it's the Compendium of Dread, and it is a prose book.
Bingo! There it goes. It just jumped to 522.
Did it? Oh, there we go. Yeah,
it's starting to feel the indie Volt bump already.
Yeah. Was it a $12 PDF? Is that $12 PDF? Is it? No, that's the one I got selected. That's the one your hands know.
You got the cheapest one.
I got the. Is it 12 plus tax? Like shipping was like 7.
I see. He's got a coffee for the beast where you can pledge $1 or more.
Yeah.
Hey, have a cup of coffee. Yeah.
She's got the plausible deniability. That's a PDF.
Okay.
$25 to write your own spooky tales. $25 for the dreadful sketchbook, which is a sketchbook, I guess, attached to the actual book. You get that. And then she got a $75 version. She's got a lot of different perks here, a lot of different versions of the book that you can pick up. So I'm excited to get that and check out what Meredith is offering. I think that she's been excited about this, and she's using the money for this to pay for the art of the comic she's doing.
Cool.
Because she said it before, she's not an artist. So this is gonna help pay for the art, and that's some of the art from the book that she's doing. And look at that art, guys. We've seen it before. Yeah. We I know she showed some of the art before, and we were looking at it and amazed by the art and about the artist really good. And So I'm looking forward to the Compendium of the Dead, and I can promise you this, everyone. This will be. I don't know a lot of people know this, but Meredith does a lot of work for Indie Volt. She does work over at Geek Insider. She's done work over at CNW, and the thing is, Meredith is a ridiculously good organizer. So I know that if she's running her own campaign, this is going to be one of the most well-ran campaigns ever in the history of running campaigns. And here's someone who got a crash course in
running their campaign.
the campaign. Bring him in right now. Fresh from the green room, from New Orleans, Mr. Anthony Figueroa.
Oh, not this guy.
Yeah, Mr. Wolfpack Studios himself. Oh,
I don't know if he was ready.
See that, huh?
Are you
Yeah,
there?
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're fine.
We get it.
All right. Yeah, I was having trouble
JD
with
goes,
my,
we hear you.
my head. Well, me and JD, we go way back, you know.
That's way back.
Yeah, you know,
Those many weeks ago.
we know each other from ways back.
Months.
You know.
Yeah,
Through this, you know,
Way back.
way back, you know.
Way back.
Yeah. Back before I was jaded by the crowdfunding process.
Anthony, let me ask you.
Well, that was last week.
let me way was jaded. I think we've all been jaded. I didn't even put a comic out on crowdfunding. Speaking of which, by the way, before we talk about jaded, Randy, I have now ate so many cordial cherries that I've been jaded. Yeah.
You've got some chocolate covered cherries.
Yeah, I've ate so many that I'm now jaded. Ollie's had them. I checked the due date.
Jaded is not the word for bloated. Bloated is.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. They're $3 a box, and I was like, sweet.
That's because they couldn't sell them before.
Yeah.
That's like catching the fruitcake on sale.
Yeah. Anthony, what if someone tells you they need $100 for you to be on the show?
What's the wait? Say again.
Someone wants you to pay them $100 to be on the show.
They want me to pay them $100 to be on your show.
No, to be on their show.
Yeah.
Wait, they have a show. They want me to pay to be on their show.
This is such a
I would.
strange idea.
I guess
Anthony
it
has
would.
a hard time wrapping his head
I
around it.
guess it would depend on what size audience they had. Though they have a reputation of actually. What is the transition? Does it transition over into money? Do people who go on the show? Do they pick up subscribers? Do they pick up backers? Do they pick up fans? Do they pick up that stuff? I'd have to weigh all those options out. You know, I'm a whore, so I will pay the money. I will prostitute myself. If it means if it means for me to be able to get at the table to pitch my wares. I have enough confidence in my wares that if I can get there, and pitch it, I'm good. I'm good as far as that goes. So it would just depend on risk versus reward. I think, you know what I'm saying?
Mitchum, who wrote in.
Was that right?
Any opinion here is right.
Yeah. Mitchum, who wrote in, he's paying $100, and he was just wondering what type of criteria he should look for before he goes on the show. And I told him, what I would look for, which is pretty much the same thing you said. I think JD and Randy are the same as well. And but then there's also this whole pay to go on the show.
Did he already pay the money?
Yeah, he paid it. He's booked 4 weeks out. So
a little late to be asking questions.
Yeah.
4 weeks out, so they're not going to hear him till the end of January.
Yeah.
Ka-jing.
Did he tell you in private who he paid the money to?
I believe so. I've checked my email, but I believe he did tell me. And he asked me, and he was like, "Hey,
did you think it was worth it?"
I looked at the company. I only seen I can say this. I only seen they had 29 subscribers.
What?
Ka-ching.
29 subscribers. So
P.T. Barnum said it best.
Yeah, your mind, man. I don't know. I don't know. I think you. I don't know. That's a strange one because again.
I can only think of 2 podcasts that I would remotely pay to be on.
Correct. It's not many.
Both of them have a hell of a lot more than 29 subscribers.
29, that doesn't even.
but if you
less subscribers than we have, are we behind the 8 ball here?
Yeah, we should probably start charging everybody 29 subscribers to get you 100.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough.
So sitting here going, no more shoes.
Does he have a campaign? Does he have a book? I mean, what's he promoting?
He's promoting his book that's gonna be the Kickstarter starts at the end of this month. So I'm sorry, at the end of January.
It's already. I was going to say it's already the end of this.
That's right, at the end of January. I'm making it already January, at the end of January, and it's got a comic, and I'll tell you, 29 subscribers. I'm not paying $100 to come on your show.
You better pay me $100 to come on your show with 29 subscribers.
That's three.
I mean,
three.
you know what I
something.
mean? Like, I mean, that's time. Listen, all joking aside, I mean, I don't even talking to shit, but y'all know time is money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you want me to come on your show, you got 29 subscribers, and I'm, you know what I mean? It's like, well, why wouldn't I go on somebody who's got 50 subscribers? Why would I go on somebody's show that's got 60? Why am I doing this? So I know it's crazy because there's a lot of people out there who, want to get into the industry and they want to promote their products and stuff like that. And so it's going to be a lot of people who
Imperium. Hello.
Hail, brother.
I don't know if I could pay that type of money, man. $100 to come on someone's show. Now,
Not.
yeah.
Like that.
And we're not charging here, not yet. One day,
Not monetarily, anyway.
Yeah. One day it's gonna be like, well,
Scroll up on Meredith's campaign there.
mhm,
It's only emotionally he's charging us at the moment.
mhm. Let's go up here. Yep. Sees it.
Let's make that number rise, folks. Kickstarter will raise it as soon as you buy it.
Mhm.
It's only at 522. Let's bring that up to 600.
Yeah.
That's not too much to ask.
Let's give Meredith some money here. She's
Give
got
Meredith some money. She deserves it.
Oh yeah.
Pendium of Dread. I'm gonna say of the Dread. Again, Pendium
the
of
Dread.
Dread.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing bloody handprints, by the way. I'm feeling like really like behind. Like
I'm telling you, who was the first person you saw do bloody handprints?
yeah, I know that you did have a couple bloody handprints in that book. Did you? Are they still in the book?
Check this out. So if you don't mind, I want to wait until you finish with the with Meredith's campaign.
Okay.
You pump it a little bit and whatnot, and then I have some news, some exciting news.
So yeah, the Compendium of Dread is again, Meredith's a friend of the network. We're partners in a publishing company over at Terraform, and she actually goes into she goes into the Indie Vote YouTube occasionally and cleans it out and makes sure it's all pretty and neat for us. She does a lot of work around the industry. I mean, there's a chance that Meredith is keeping things tidy on your favorite network, your favorite YouTube channel right now. So she definitely deserves it. She's she's learning. And you look at that art, she's the money she's making for this book is going toward her putting out her first comic. And again, you guys seen that art. I'll bring it back down. That art looks really cool. I'm excited for her first comic. So it's gonna be And again, Meredith's very organized. She runs a lot of those online cons. A lot of the indie events. She's the person running them and making sure that everything goes off smoothly. So I don't think that you're gonna have any problems with this campaign. 539.
Oh,
hey.
come on, keep that jumping.
That's right. That's right.
Bring that number up.
That's right. 539. She's
it's a prose book by someone you love. Now, come on.
Yeah, I think that she's gonna make sure she runs a smooth campaign. In fact, Randy and I have often said that
I hope to, if not to have her run my campaign, I at least get her advice at almost every step.
Yeah.
So,
So the Compendium of the Dread over on Kickstarter. If you're a
Compendium of Dread.
Yeah, like you said, of the
Anthology of Dark Fiction. Over on
You want to say of the dead?
Yeah.
It's the Compendium of the Dead. No, of Dread.
If you are an international backer, she has a PDF option. I got the $17 option. I got the book coming. I'm excited for it. I got my bookcase is ready for that book. Get yourself a copy, and we'll try to talk Meredith into. As a matter of fact, I think there's a thank you option in the book too. You can get your name put in the book too. So definitely worth checking out. We're gonna check back in with this book right before we close the program. But that's been the Compendium of Dread over on Kickstarter.
We should have Meredith on. How come she's not here?
I don't know. So, Anthony, you said you have news.
Yeah, I got two. Hold on one second. I got two things I want to show you.
Okay.
I'm glad I still got my pants on.
Just
Yeah,
remember.
because-
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
And because the two things he'll show us if he didn't have pants, maybe.
That would be 2.5 things.
All right. So for anyone, yeah, sometimes I don't wear pants, but this time I did. So for anybody, I don't know if it's still available, but I just want to tell you, I got this, and it was so worth it. I want you to look at this thing I got here. Can you see this?
Oh wow.
Look at that, man.
Mm-hmm.
What the heck is that?
Look at this. Look at this. Look at all these books. Look at that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Got cards in the back.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, dude, this is beautiful, man.
Now,
Look at
now,
isn't that great?
Did you
Look
pick
at
it
that.
up,
The bells
Molly?
going off, bells and whistles and everything. Jesus, unbelievable.
The Chronicles of Oswald. That was like a variety pack, man. That's a lot of stuff.
Bruh.
A lot of
I mean, there's cards. There's all. I mean, you can't beat this. Look at this. I mean, there's cards in the front. Look, cards in the back.
Mm-hmm.
How many books that is? Look at that.
That's yeah.
Well, they all got backs and boards and bags on them. Holy, this
Take it
is
in the
like
hammer.
first class, bro. This is like top of the line.
I understand I understand the person responsible for those comics. I understand that their wallet is that thick too. I'm just saying. I understand they
I got this the other day.
fatten out of
Look at that. That is beautiful.
Great.
Look at that.
Thick book right there.
Look at that. Now that's beautiful.
What is
Beautiful.
Tell you, it's hard to put back in the bag. It's so big.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So
Thank
my
you, John. Thank you.
second thing is now after all this time and heartache and tears and whatnot, I got
That's
today.
tears spelled with an E and an A, right?
I got this
T-E-A-R.
today.
Oh.
Cool.
Nice.
Look at that.
Today. All right.
Awesome.
So beautiful, man. Let me show you. This is just beautiful. It is
Nice.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
is
Nice.
beautiful.
There's a werewolf there. I don't know how
You're scaring
I know,
Barry.
I'm sorry.
as
Let
we
me
speak.
see if I can find another. How about this page right
There we
There
go.
you go. There you go.
Make sure there's no breasts, or we'll be in trouble.
No. No,
Bare
I
breasts, should
I
say.
made the. I really did. I made the book more probably PG-13.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like there's minor, but no F-bombs or anything. There's no nudity or anything like this because again, I wanted to be able to tell a story, a good story, but something that again would challenge me not to use curse words, but challenge me to write a story that was good, that didn't need the language, that didn't need the nudity, that didn't need the stuff to sell it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That it was story driven, it was, action driven.
Yeah.
It has some colorful language in it, but nothing, again, PG-13 is what I would say for sure.
Mhm.
Now, these, I ordered these on the 7th. This was, and this came today. So, these are the proofs. Yeah, no, it was I got refunded, all kind of stuff like this. And the only issue that I have, which I've already adjusted it and everything, is you probably can't see because this camera's terrible, but the spine bleeds into the cover.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I called him up. I said, "Hey, what can we do to rectify that?" And he checked it, and somehow I don't know. He said it's on his end. He said something about the artwork, the way they merged it on their end.
Yeah.
So So he said, "Look, this is what you do. You type in spine artwork is creeping into the front cover." He says, "We'll reprint it. Give us 5 days. We'll have you exactly what you want." Because that's and I appreciated that because that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for someone again because I'm sitting over here going, I've been waiting for so long. I'm just like, maybe no one will know. You know what I mean? I'm like being like, well, look, tell me when they come off the thing and when it rolls off the deal, if it looks good, just order the other one. Like, you know what I mean? And so I'm like, look, can you get it to me? He said, yeah. He goes, reprints, man. He goes, we put priority on it because it's on our end. So we want to make it right with the customer. So usually it's like a 5-day turnaround. So we think we can get it to you in 5 days. So that's where I'm at with that, man. But I tell you what, other than that, dude, it's beautiful.
It looks incredible.
Yeah, it looks good.
Nice, man.
Yeah,
Beautiful, dude.
Now,
Everything is nice.
something else that wasn't offered to us as customers. I don't get it. There's a poster behind you that I don't have one of those. How come?
You got look. I tell you what. I'll give you the link to T Public, and you can purchase yours just like I purchased mine. I did. I was getting some shirts from my kids and stuff, and you know, and it's funny. T Public, you don't get any discounts if you're the creator. It just doesn't work that way. And I was just going through the merch, man, and I saw this poster, and I'm like, wow. I was like, let me get this. I want to see this, man. What it looks like, you know, just see if it's worth it or whatever. I mean, because you know, so I got it, and when it came, it was beautiful. My wife went and bought a frame for it, put it in a frame and everything. Mm-hmm. But I still haven't been able to get into anything to where I can afford to do something like that. Mm-hmm. I would think once you got past maybe 25, 30,000, you could start getting into that. Because then you'd have to ship it completely separate. You'd have to get a tube for it and ship it completely separate and stuff.
That's something a lot of the campaigns are finding out, not to do large posters like that unless they can fold them up and stick them in the
mix them. Well, what's cool,
you have to roll them into a tube. That's a risk.
Yeah, mix them cells. You can get those like that. They're 11 by 17, and then what you do is you buy the little there's a little thing you buy it online with a little, and you just put it in there, and it makes the creases, and you fold them up. Now you could offer something like that if you said, look, here's a $200 package, right? $250, a $300 package. Mm-hmm. You could then put those big size posters in there because you know it's a limited deal. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And you factor in the cost of the tube, you factor all that stuff into the $200 package. You could say you could do something like that, but on a regular tiers and stuff, I think it would wind up killing you. Just the logistics of it, I think would kill you.
Mm. Now, Anthony, you've been God's Hand is it's a project you've been working on for a while. You are at the cusp of now starting to fulfill it. Do you, looking back on it, was there one area that had you known about you would have just changed, or you would have?
Dude said one area.
One area is like the most. Yeah, is there something?
I think let's see. It's hard to say because I'm so wrapped in the post-production printing phase of all the stuff that my mind is so into that it's like, you know, having your printing, you know, knowing who you're going to print with, knowing what the turnaround is big. You know what I'm saying? I think you should do, which I did do a test run with them, but I did a test run with prints. I didn't do a test run with a book. You should do a test run with a book with them early on.
And I'm gonna,
you know what I mean? And see what the lag time. Oh, here's the other thing. Do not print your book during December. Terrible time of year to print your book. Horrible. Because apparently the dude's like, yeah, the regular turnaround's like 5 days. Sorry, it took 3 weeks for you, but it's Christmas.
Any
decent printer is office COVID on me. Yeah. Go ahead.
And the reason for that is any decent printer is printing Christmas advertisements, Christmas cards. It's just the wrong season to be doing.
Right.
Yeah, a regular book.
And the reason why
November gets a little risky. If you want to get a book printed November, do it early on.
Well, yeah, I was glad he mentioned printing. But to your point, Randy, November is pretty bad because also I know that I spoke to Mark at one point in Grand Rapids Comic-Con, and he told me that November is really bad too for him to advertise, or it gets hard to advertise because if it's an election year, all of the political candidates are buying up all the billboard space, and you can get knocked. Just
And the same thing goes for printing as well, because they've got yard signs and flyers and door hangers that they do.
But I'm glad you mentioned printing, Anthony, because I was looking at a statistic online, and I'm gonna run a poll on IndieVolt's Facebook and Twitter. I seen a poll, and I thought the number was kind of high, but it said 70% of creators end up not going with the printer they had originally chosen.
Wow.
For projects.
I'm in that number.
Yeah, 70%. I thought it was a little high.
I tell you what, you'd have to see of the people that were polled, of the 70%, how many of that 70% were first timers?
Yeah.
Because I can tell you the next time I go, this is the company I'm going with. I wasn't happy with the 3 weeks, but like I said, I from what Randy says, what I've heard, it's not it's not smoke. This time when I told the dude what the issue was, dude was like, look, bro, we'll fix it. Let me fix the look, 5 days, I'll take care. You know what I mean? Very, very professional, very upfront, very like we're gonna take care of you. So, and the quality is for what they're charging and the quality I'm getting is I have no desire to go anywhere else.
And a publisher, a printer that does that for you is a printer that wants to keep and have your business for as long as they can get their hands on. So there's a lot of good printers out there. You just have to find them. And yeah, sometimes it does take some hunting and some trial and error. Everybody does it.
Sister Mercy says, I do 11 by 17 posters, which fit in a Gemini shipper with one fold. Yeah, you can fold those up.
If you're trying to fold them, the slickest I ever seen someone do it. And again, you're still going to get some different. It's going to deform somewhat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. They lay it long ways, right? Put the middle on it and then fold the edges like that over it. So you never really put a hard crease in it. It's just the edges will tend to have, they'll be folded like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But it won't have a hard crease in it.
Jason Moore says, I need to get those Tall Tales volumes that Randy just held up. JD Calderon can make sure that happens for you.
Where's that? Talltales.com?
I'm pretty sure that's
Go to talltalesonline.com and you just go to the store. They're in there.
And you spelled tails wrong, Jason.
Yeah,
it's
T-A-I-L-S.
tails as an animal tail. TAILS.
Yeah, otherwise you'll get some
They can't be responsible for where they go, usually to a very deformed porn site.
What's that name again? Hold on.
TALLTAILS.com.
I
was just kidding about the porn site.
Beyond Time says, what up? Hello, Beyond Time.
What up, Beyond Time?
How you doing, Beyond Time?
Geographic Time says, if you don't mind a Christian on printer, we use stickers and more out of Washington, Indiana for everybody that isn't a book, postcards, stickers, bookmarks, etc. My only problem is would they be okay with me? Even though I don't like, there are some things that I print. I'm like, we don't want to print this. I will tell you, I did have years ago when I was young and could move. I printed one of the local cons, Detroit Fanfare, had a book they did, and they wanted to have Detroit esque recreations of covers in this book. And but they basically, you're gonna do an homage cover of a popular comic, but put a Detroit spin on it.
Service is beyond excellent.
Which is what I did. Now, most people, I guess, I thought, okay, that's cool. I'll do something. I did. Some people were doing, like Spider-Man swinging, stopping Green Goblin by the Ambassador Bridge. I think John Merrick did something like that. Some people were doing, just those type of covers, putting the Detroit spin on it. My cover that I did was called Mayor No More, which was off of the Spider-Man cover, but it was Kwame. I can show the print. I'll put the print up on indievolt.com on the Facebook tomorrow.
He kind of, if you don't know out there, he kind of got removed from office,
right,
and spent a little time in that pokey.
Right. So my thing was Mayor No More.
Mayor
Well,
No
I
More.
didn't know that it was supposed to be positive shit. No one told me that.
Well, some politicals, people, opinions, that was a positive.
Yeah, no one.
I'm thinking. I mean, it's all perspective, isn't it?
Right. From a certain point of view, him not being the mayor was positive for some people, but I know it wasn't supposed to be anything that wasn't positive. So my piece didn't get the chance to go into the book. However, what I did was I said, well, I'm not gonna let this go to waste. I'm gonna make it a print.
Mhm.
So I made 11 by 17 print, and I took it to this printer in downtown Detroit. They're no longer there, but they offered me a really good price because they had come to my office and they wanted my business. So I sent them the print sent it to them through email. They got it, said we'll have it ready for you in 2 days. Excellent. 2 days later, I go to pick it. I paid them, by the way. I should also note that I paid them through PayPal.
Mhm.
They called me and they said, your prints are ready to come pick up. So I drive around. It's about 3 minutes from my office on the way home because my office is downtown Detroit. And, and I don't live there. I live like 45 to an hour away. So on the way home, I stop, I pick it up, and I walk into there, and they're like, and this girl, she's like, "Oh, hold on, one second," and she comes back in with a guy, and this guy is like, they got my prints right there in a box, 2 boxes, and they're like, "Hey, yeah, we got a problem. We can't sell these to you." And I'm like, "Why? What do you mean you can't?" I've already paid for them. Yeah, we just can't. We'll refund your money in like 2 weeks. But like my dad saw them and says we can't print these. So in a fit of just like fight or flight, I snatch 1 box and run.
Good for you.
Yeah, I snatch 1 box and I run out the store. And I don't know why I snatched the box and I ran out the store.
You're taking them both. They were yours. You already paid for them.
Well, I remember running in the car, jumping in the car, to my mother, drive. We gotta go. She's like, what? I'm like, drive. And she's driving, and they didn't want to give my stuff. And I started wondering, were they friends with Kwame? But the prints, I got like 4 or 5 left. And I remember though that actually I wrote a little bit about that on a little card in front of the print, and that actually helped the print to sell. And people were like, the print Kwame Patrick and friends don't want you to have. But yeah. Man,
we should probably let our radio listening audience and our affiliates around the world know that we are running long.
Yeah, we actually are running a little bit longer than our usual.
Can't believe how that clock on the wall has just zoomed by today.
Yeah. Well, Max DeVille says, greetings, everyone. Greetings, Max. Well,
what's up, Max?
Greetings, Max.
Max DeVille.
What's our number?
Right now, Randy, we're sitting at 69.
But we were at 62 earlier, right?
Yeah.
So we're still growing. So.
Yeah. Not me. I stopped growing a long time ago.
Well, I meant our radio audience.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Anthony, Wolfpack Studios has been announced. I've seen the logo. I've seen one with the HBO music too. Nice HBO.
You like that, huh?
That was cool. That's you and Marcus. Last name. Yeah. I always mispronounce Marcus' last name, but that's you guys. Our partnership. Anything else coming from Wolfpack Studios in 2021?
Yeah, I mean, we have Justice City Chronicles is waiting. I told Marcus that, again, we're putting everything together. The book is, for the most part, ready to go to print. We have a prologue and an epilogue we're going to add to it. We did some new covers for it. Most of it's been recolored. But, we talked about it, and I felt like, well, and this is another part that's just, you have to roll with the punches and you have to take it how it goes. We felt like it wouldn't be right to start promoting another book until I delivered on God's Hand first.
Very smart.
And so you kind of, you know what I mean? So it's there. You know what I mean? But it's like you know what I mean? I mean, he could do it, but then it's still now all joined together, and it's just like kind of made a decision like let's start getting the packages out. Once they start going out, once people start saying we got them and stuff like this, then you can start moving forward and say, hey, cool, make the tours. Why are you making the tours? We're about to release, we're about to drop this. You can sign up right now. We can start at least launch the sign up. You know what I'm saying? To get people involved in that while we're talking about God's hand and how good it looks and how great a creator I am and stuff like this. I think it's, humility. I'm very proud of my humility, and I think it's, you got to go out there and promote, but that's coming in 21. We have Justice City Chronicles, and then right on the heels of that, we should be dropping God's Hand 2, and then hopefully maybe by the end of the year we'll have another Justice City out. If we don't do any crossovers and stuff like that, because I think that's going to be one of the things you're going to see kind of pop off with some factions. I think you're going to see crossovers start up. I think you're going to see real, it's problematic because you still have to figure. There's a lot of details to figure out. Who's running the campaign? Do you get a third party to run it? How do you divvy the money? How do you, it's you know what I mean? When you're doing it yourself, you know what I mean? There's a lot of little nuts to crack down on, to tighten up, to look at, to just examine before you jump in, because there's a lot of people who are looking to do things like that. Sim over there, me and Sim's been talking. Stefani Renee with his book, he's on the line. He wants to do something, and so there's a lot of people who want to do stuff. It's just, it's cracking that nut, man, because it really hasn't been done yet.
There's a so I'm sorry, I got an Indie Volt message, a radio message, and I think I know who it's from, but basically it says we haven't discussed a particular thing that happened in comics recently.
Who in the world would send that? You can name names. Call them out.
I think I know. I can't name names. I think I know who sent it. I can't prove
Send
it
it
yet.
to me in the chat. Well,
you want me to say it? Yeah. You want me to say it? You don't have any problems.
No, we haven't mentioned a something that happened in the comic industry, and it was on purpose because.
Is somebody not listening to us? Because I think if it's the same incident you're talking about, we did talk about it. Didn't we? Or did we not talk about that on the air?
No, we didn't talk about it on the air. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we didn't talk about it on the air. But I don't know if it was just like a man. We never talked about it when it was going on. I don't think we talked about it really when it was.
Unless there's somebody out there trying to stir the pot.
Yeah.
Oh, great. You mean it's another freaking crab?
Yeah. I believe it's your crab, though.
Huh?
I believe it's your crab, though.
It's my crab?
Yeah.
Oh.
I believe it's your crab. I think it's the monster you created.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think it's not a crab. That's a speck.
Oh, okay. I've created a bunch of them. So.
That's a snail.
Oh, okay.
Damn.
Crawling on the floor.
Call the crab. He's a fucking slug.
Here's the thing. I mean, there's certain things that we just it doesn't make good.
Some people just want to stir the pot and make a big deal about nothing.
Yeah.
Not that wasn't anything.
Yeah.
We can talk about it if you want.
Well, I mean, the situation that people want us to talk about is they want us to discuss the fact
because they're looking for people to, they and again the who was that, Johnny Hazard?
Yeah.
No, that wrote. They want that line division.
Yeah.
Are you this guy or are you that guy? Are you these letters? Are you that letter? What are you?
They want us to talk about that the Mark Wade and Zach case is over. They want to talk about that. And the case is over.
It's over.
It's
settled.
Yeah, it's settled.
It's done. Yeah.
It's settled science. It's fucking
and now Varian runs. But like I said before,
I'm here. I gotta fix my paint.
There's a lot of these defined lines that are looking to get defined, especially when you look in comic book litigation, that gets settled out of court specifically to try to blur that line. And in the case that do you think we should just mention this outright?
Yeah, I think
Now, you already mentioned Wade. So, yeah. Between Zach and Wade. Well, a lot of people want to jump up and say he gave up, he's done, blah, 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 all of this. It was a mutual decision between both parties to stop and walk their separate ways. This isn't like the DC Fawcett case where they were fighting over Captain Marvel and Superman, where Fawcett actually paid DC a couple $100,000 in compensation because Fawcett made millions, while DC sat on their butt or decided whether or not they could sue Fawcett over Captain Marvel. Both of these people walked their separate ways, each one paying their own legal fees. So, and there have been, it had been going on for what, 2 years?
Yep.
So they either came to a decision or somebody decided that they had had enough, or more logically, somebody decided that the hurt that was given them from the opposing party no longer matched the amount of profit they were making off of their publicity.
Mhm.
You don't know. We don't know. They're not going to say. Oh, look at that.
Wow, that's nice.
Awesome.
Man.
3 bells for that.
640 for the companion.
Thank you, everybody. She deserves more, but we appreciate everybody working in on that campaign. What's done is done, and unfortunately, there hasn't been a definite deciding line. But just like with the Captain Marvel case, no deciding line. The all of the copyright litigation cases that you see are always settled out of court because they don't want that definition.
Not anymore. Case they won't.
Huh?
Not anymore. Case they won't now.
No, but there will be other cases. There will be other people that make mistakes that end up going up for tortious interference.
Well, I was referring to
it's bound to happen.
Yeah, I was referring to that case thing I was talking about earlier, the copyright case thing.
Oh, yeah, especially with the spiteful and poisonous rhetoric that you see over on Twitter. Everything that you post online, I'm sorry, is indefinite. It's going to be there forever.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you try to remove it, it's still going to be there. Somebody's going to screen cap it if it's important enough, and they'll have that. Look at the trouble that Zach got into for doing the dark roast. He didn't mean anybody else to hear except for a couple of friends as he vented against a few key people that tried to ruin his life. Look at that. He's still paying for that.
Yeah.
Now, Wade didn't pay Zach, but he paid his own legal bills. Zach didn't pay Wade, but he paid his own legal bills. Well, and they're done. They've decided to go their separate ways and not bring this matter up again.
Their fans paid for those legal fees through the GoFundMe.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's very true on both sides. That's the way that worked. But and anything left over is on his side. Zach says he's already going to give to charity, but on Wade's side, nobody.
Well, he said it was all used up. So
he said it was all used up. Okay, yeah. Soaked by Zayd, who goes out there and tries to poke the bear afterwards.
Well, I saw. If you want to watch a real interesting take on all of this stuff,
there you go.
Watch. Just some guy breaks this down, and he makes some valid points on it, and he just, it's like, because the reality of it is anyone who is intellectually honest, there's no, it's not an it. And even if you look at it, it's not in question what Mark Wade did. It's not in question that he did that. It's not in question that he stepped in. Nobody who's really honest is questioning that. Yeah. This became a cultural pissing match here. That ended in kind of a stalemate. I mean, but if you look at it, it's like, I don't know. I mean, is it a stalemate? I mean, look what came from that. Look at the fruit that's bore from that.
Yeah,
gotcha. Everybody wound up getting to this place, and we forgot where we came from. We forgot where we started at, and we get to this place, and it's like we want to see Mark Wade get trounced in court and wearing the dunce hat and get driven out, and people can throw tomatoes. That's not. Look, man, it didn't happen. But the amount of ground that was gained during this time frame, it was worth it. It was worth what happened. And then again, at the end of the day, and then just some guy's thing was, Wade can't talk about it. Myers can't talk about it.
No.
But you know who is? We are.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it. And we're the ones who are going, Yeah, we didn't like the way it went, but no one's arguing whether Wade tortiously interfered or not. That's just a given now.
Mhm.
So,
Not only that, not only that, but it might give folks a second thought before they do it
100%.
and try to get in the way. But here's another thought. Here's another thought, another angle that I don't know if has ever been brought up. If Wade had not tortuously interfered with Antarctic Press and Antarctic had gone through and printed Jawbreakers,
That's my point, Randy.
what kind of attention would it have brought?
That's my point.
He probably
That's
just
my point.
faded away. And the thing is now that everything's said and done, I would like to see whether or not he could bring it back to someplace like Antarctic and see if he get it printed.
Not me.
I
No.
would like to see it. I would
No.
like to see him in the greater market. Why not?
He can be on the greater market of Splato comics.
Well, yeah, however he wants to do it.
I'd love to see that. Let's see him put Iron Sights out there and make it available for the retailers. Is Diamond going to allow that to happen? I don't know. I don't know. Are the people out there who are so anti Zach or whatever because he's got opinions on their work going to allow that to happen? I don't know.
I think
I don't
that's
know.
all. The deal is that I think that's all yesterday, though.
Are the retailers who are looking to make a buck off of any way that they possibly can in order to keep their stores afloat going to allow that to happen? Let's watch.
You're looking at but you're looking at a market that's in flux right now. So again, you're 100% correct. If this is 2017, you're 100% correct. No one wants to take that risk with all of this stuff. But so much, and that was kind of my point. So much has changed because of this in this time frame. And then with all the external things, the markets have shifted in such a way that now you have this whole new crowdfunded market that is altering and shaping the way that the comic book industry is doing business. With Warner Brothers and with DC being in the condition that they're in now, Marvel, I don't see them really, the movies maybe, but the comics, I don't see the comics making any real strides anywhere. You have this shift now that you don't know what markets are going to open up. So and then you have all these people who are coming up, who are going to come up in the next year, next year, who they're only going to know the world from 2020 on. They're only going to know the world from 2021 on. So all the shit that happened in 17, all the bullshit, all that stuff, they're like, I don't know any of that bullshit. I'm looking at product. I'm looking at this product over here and it's making money. People are willing to pay for it. I'd like to take that and put that out here. You know what I mean? And I think you're going to see more of that shifting, and it's going to change and how it looks and what it looks like and how we can take advantage of it. I don't know until it gets here, but I do know things are moving.
About that, we just want to say,
Yay! Think about what you've accomplished.
because if these folks hadn't gotten in the way, we wouldn't have that way now. The 6-figure campaigns, the 7-figure campaigns. So
100%.
truly, honestly, whenever I see those folks out there, I got a sketchbook. I get autographs from people that have helped shape the industry. I get their autographs.
Yeah. And you also have to,
because without them, they have totally altered comics history. There's more money coming into this market now, especially to the creator, than what was happening 3-4 years ago. Yay for us.
and the other thing is,
We should start thanking them.
I remember this one.
It's my opinion.
I remember seeing this one tweet. I can't remember who it was from. If it was, but it's the quote. The tweet said, "Every time I see it was a picture of San Diego Comic-Con, the show floor, and it said, every time I see this, I think this is it. This is the year the industry dies." And these are, these people who are always predicting doom and gloom in the comic industry need to get a better hobby. And then, we I don't know if it's fair because COVID obviously happened, and now, things are a little bit different. Or not a little, things are a lot different. Now we don't have cons and people are suffering financially. Companies are cutting back. You see what DC cut down this March, they paid for 1,892 pages of art last year.
They according to Rich Johnson, They canned the people that were supposed to tell the people that they no longer had jobs.
Jeez.
So they kept working.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, so-
Oh no! Hopefully they got paid, and that's not why I'm laughing. I'm laughing because they canned the people who are supposed to tell the people
if
they
I-
were canned.
yeah,
That's like a Monty Python routine.
yeah,
The person in charge of sacking the people has been sacked.
yeah. It's rough. It's rough. I don't understand
Oh my
why.
God.
I will. say, though,
That's business. That's just another example of this wonderful industry.
unlike those companies, though, we'll be here next year. But let's let everybody tell everybody where they're from so we can get out of here. We're going to start with Mr. Calderon. Where can they find you at, sir?
You can find me on Facebook under JD Calderon. You can find me on theoswaldchronicles.com. You can find me on talltalesonline.com. You can find me on Twitter under JD Calderon. You can find me on YouTube, where I interview independent creators under JD Calderon and Indie Comics Explained.
He interviewed me. I didn't have to pay him nothing.
Nothing.
What?
I was waiting for a check, but I just never got
It's in the mail.
it. Thank you.
Yeah, one of the most highest viewed shows had me on it. I'm just kidding.
Is that what it is? I thought mine was highest.
Yeah. I listen to the wrestler Virgil. I've talked to Virgil at several Comic Cons, and one time he flirted with my mother, which made me very uncomfortable. There's been a couple people celebrities who have flirted with my mother, and I've been very uncomfortable. But he was telling me, he says, "Hey man, you know what? Me and I forget what other wrestler it was. We sold out Madison Square Garden, you know." And I'm like, Virgil, I'm pretty sure Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior being on that card sold out Madison Square Garden, but whatever, whatever. That's how I am. JD, me being on your show, just forget the fact that, whoever else is on, it was all me. But no, JD's show, you do your show, is it Sunday nights?
Well, okay. I'm a little bit in flux. Currently, I'm doing every Sunday. I'm trying to do a group, podcast where I get a bunch of individuals together and we all talk about comics. Randy's been on a few times. You were on last weekend. I got to get that guy. On sometime. Yeah.
Want your ratings to go?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I'll bring on some of my other angry New Yorkers. We'll have a good time.
There we
Do
go.
that. Do that. I'll bring Marcus on.
Exactly. We're gonna have it out. But no, we have fun. But Sunday nights is where it's at right now, and I'm looking. That's to be another night I have to set up just to do interviews.
Okay.
That's coming up soon.
You got to do hot takes like Daphne. You got to come on. Yeah, you got to come on pissed and just full of
Just
rage.
being angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to stay away from that. If trust me, I can't say a tenth of what I truly feel.
Not on the air, at least.
Yeah, not
No,
there.
not on the air. No, not on the air.
But among friends.
Of course.
Yeah.
Anthony,
You don't want to record that stuff. You'll end up with another dark roast.
yeah. Anthony, where can they find you at?
You can find me at www.kiddestructo.com. You can find me on Twitter at Kid Destructo. You can find Destructo1. You can find me on Instagram at Kid Destructo. You can find me on Facebook at either Anthony Figaro or Kid Destructo. You can find me on LinkedIn as Anthony Figaro. I think that's about it. Besides the other Tall Tales website, you can find me on there, spelled completely different.
JD's is telltalesonline.com.
This
That's
is
tales as an animal tail.
all
Tales.
tales
Yeah.
.porn. This is completely different. This is different.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Very.
We got a friend I think wants to ask you a question, Anthony. Hang on.
Do you draw the Flintstones naked? There's a market for that.
We talked about this before. I mean,
I'll do it. Randy, where can they find you at,
There's
sir?
a price for everything. Yes. I'm on Facebook under Randy Zimmerman. Please join me there. It's a lot better than trying to find me as Randy Zim over on Twitter, because Twitter just seems to be with a lot of poison and negative drama. You can find me at the Zim Geek channel, ZIMMGEEK, over on YouTube. And while you're there, look up the Indie Volt channel and like and subscribe to both of those and hit the bells over there for notifications. And then I'll probably be back tomorrow night, unless you got something going on with Geekgasm, with Meredith and Daphne and yourself and whoever else.
Yeah, you're welcome to be there.
Try again. I don't know. Well, if I got time, I'll be there. And then you and I will be back Thursday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Breakfast Buzz, where we talk more about the comic industry. And then on Sunday, I'll be back yet again for another episode of Sunday Funnies, along with Daphne Lage, where we talk about, usually Daphne Lage, depending upon what's going on, where we talk about the more lighthearted and whimsical side of comics, the fun stuff, the stuff that puts that sparkle in your eye and makes you laugh. So.
And of course, you can find me, Varian Grant, on all social medias, KYD_V on Twitter. My name is Herb on Grindr. So
Herb?
Yeah, get it. Herb
We're
Grindr.
not here to talk about our porn.
Get it, Herb Grindr. Get it.
Herb Grindr.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah.
Terrible.
Also, ledg.us for distribution of comics company that I own, as well as indievolt.com, lastcallcomics.com, my publishing company. Go there, go to the store, send me money. I will do comics in exchange for those monies. If you want to send in a question to IndieVolt, it's really simple, really easy to do. All you got to do is email us at indievoltlive@indievolt.com. Include IndieVolt Live in the subject, and please keep those emails to 90 words or less. Also, if you
and remember, no question is too serious or silly. We even take questions or statements from slugs. Bring it up.
Yeah, a little slow. Also, if you are looking for something to listen to, and a lot of you are right now, we actually crossed to 71,204 listening.
We love you all
right now on Indie Volt Radio. You can do that too by listening on Alexa or Streamer, the iOS app on iPhones, or download the Indie Volt Radio app on Google Play. You can also, I don't know if a lot of people know this or not, I'll show it real quick. I think I have the window open. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. A lot of people always ask me, what do I mean when I say that? If you go to indievolt.com, or website, and you go down to the bottom of the page, we're live right now. So if you click that play button, it's going to show you, us, which is really weird because
okay to play with yourself.
Yeah. But so yeah, we're live right now on the IndieVolt page. So just, you can watch there too, and as well as in the IndieVolt Radio right there on indievolt.com. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. Also, but before I do that, IndieVolt TV also for free on the Roku. I know a lot of you got Roku enabled devices and televisions for Christmas. Download IndieVolt TV. Lots of independent movies up there, independent content. I got some stuff coming out very, very soon. Some announcement we're going to be making some
within the next week or so.
Yeah, and we got a project that's going up there that I'm excited to have up there because it was it's a project, it's an indie movie that actually had it's independent, but it had like a $5 million budget. And the director I've been contacting the director, and he's gonna let me put it up on IndieVolt TV. So can't wait to get that done. So yeah, nice. And I know all of you will rush over there and make me pay hundreds of dollars for you to watch it. No, but it is free. IndieVolt TV is free. That's it for us this weekend, guys. This week, guys. IndieVolt Live Wires. We'll see you all next year.
It's our last show of the year. Yep. We'll see you all
it.
next year. We'll be back Thursday morning, though, and Wednesday night at 9 p.m. We also want to point out that Eric Hodson does the Dreaded Dinosaur, and Michael Oden have a program now that they've started up on Monday talking about it came from Webtoons, where they talk about digital comics.
Yep.
So a subject that not a whole lot of people do podcasts on.
Yep, comics on the Webtoon platform.
And a lot of comics that you probably haven't seen with creators that you might not have ever even heard of that do phenomenal stuff.
And their indie vote radio number has been really good for that show. So even though people can't see it, but I think they can because they're right there on their phones. So if they're listening on their phones.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, that's it for us. We're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna let Randy take us out. We'll see you guys all. Well, I'll see you tomorrow. The rest of these guys, who knows what we'll see.
We'll see you next year. Any last words? Anybody? Any last words? Peace.
Peace. Make comics.
Make comics. Make good comics.
Yes.
Make your best comics. Now's the time. Now's the time. Strike while that iron is hot. The market is wide open. The crowdfunding has never been better. The water is warm. Come on and jump in. Make good comics. Be healthy, everybody. Be safe. Make sure you wash that mask if you have a cloth mask. You don't want any bacterial infections going on because then they'll just register you as COVID and you'll make money for the hospital. So, take care, everyone. We'll see you soon.
How can he close me up? On what ground? I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here. You're winning, sir. Oh, thank you very much. Everybody. You bunch of losers!